Hello, everybody. Today I'm wearing the Court Crawl shirt, one of my favorite originals. Yeah, me too. Ava's a little confused, but you know, that's how she rolls. Hello, isn't that special? Hello, Mortimer Duke. Yeah, I'm here. So, that, what you just heard, was, I did a real quick chop of Judge Crumb's docket because it was too much. It was too much. It was too fun. And I decided I had to add it in. So we're gonna watch what I prepared, and then we'll watch that because we can. Let's see here. Oh, this guy. All right.
Hey, Judge, real quick before you call anything, on Williams, I guess he just got picked up and no one notified our office. So if the court, it's not my case, but if the court's okay, if we could just adjourn the PCC, so whoever's case it is.
Okay, so how much time do y'all need?
Judge, whatever you want to give us will be fine. I'm sure someone can make it work.
Is this pertaining to Irma Williams?
It is, sir. I'm trying to find. So one of your cases is an attorney general's case, which is a little different from the standard ones that we did the other day. So I'm trying to find an attorney for that. It's 10 o'clock and I'm still going.
Well, this.
Good morning.
I was picked up over 3 weeks ago. Now this is my second time back in court on this case.
Yes.
And I contacted the state myself.
Okay.
I spoke to the
Attorney Hoffman, are you on this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. Is this who is this defendant, if you could tell me?
It's Williams, last name Armon, IRMON.
And are the charges unemployment, fraud, false pretenses, or identity theft?
That's correct.
That's me, Your Honor.
I know you didn't know about it. It's because they didn't contact you. And so I was trying to figure out who it was that was over this case. And so now I have you. What do you need? You need an adjournment? Can we set it for a PCC in so much time? How do you want to do this today?
So, Your Honor, does the defendant have an attorney, or is he getting one?
He's going to be a standby. It's Attorney Gagnon.
Okay. So I would like another PCC if we could. If the court needs to schedule it for a preliminary examination, that's fine. I just ask for a PCC before the prelim if that's possible. I know the court's very, very busy.
Thank you. And because of that, I'm going to give you an adjourned PCC. How long do you need?
I could probably do an adjourned PCC 2 weeks. I have a murder trial next week, so I'm not available.
I was going to suggest 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
All right, let's go on the record on this matter, okay? I'm going to unmute him. All right.
Okay.
Unmute you. Now calling the matter of People versus Armon Carl Williams Jr. This is case number 24055070101. Count 1, unemployment compensation fraud. Count 2, false statement, misrepresentation. Nope, that's still count 1. Let me repeat it again. Count 1 is unemployment compensation fraud, false statement, misrepresentation. Loss of $3,500 to $25,000. Count 2, identity theft. Count 3, financial transaction device possession. Count 4, computers used to commit a crime. Maximum imprisonment of 4 years or more, but less than 10 years. Appearances for the record, starting with counsel for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Benita Hoffman, Assistant Attorney General on behalf of the people.
Brian Gagnick, Your Honor. I'm with Neighborhood Defenders Service, P64220, acting as standby counsel.
All right, we need your P number, Attorney Hoffman, real quick.
Sure, it's 48738, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Williams, can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Erman Determined El Shabazz. And I want to make notice that I don't want standby counsel. I don't want to be pushed out of the proceedings by a state appointed counsel as a gesture to take over the case to fraudulently prosecute me. I will be representing myself.
Stop walking. Okay, that's fine. He's just here to facilitate right now, giving you some of the documents that you need to have in place. So he's not gonna push you out. No, he's not gonna push you out. He's just gonna facilitate giving you some documents that you need. He is going to be standby, which means that he'll just make sure you have everything you need. You'll be able to represent yourself in whatever capacity you would like, okay?
Well, the same way that the documents can be facilitated to him, they can be facilitated to me.
No, sir, I'm not doing that. So this is how it's gonna run today. I'm just letting you know, and it's all gonna, that way we can ensure everything that needs to be going over is given to you at that point in time, okay?
And another, one last thing before we proceed. When I was arraigned on this, they told me that to stay away from the defendant, Erman Carl Williams Sr. It seemed as if this case ran from my father. I've been having this problem my whole life. My father's been dead for years. So I don't even understand where this, I've never even filed whatever they're saying. So if this has something to do with my father, he's deceased.
It says junior on here, so it does not. So it's definitely junior, okay? So I don't know any of the facts of it. I don't know it. They don't provide me with a lot of information. All I know is I try and set dates. So that's why they're gonna get all the documents, and that's why it's important to have an attorney be able to look through it, but you're looking through it as well. They're gonna forward it to you so that they can explain whatever documents have been given to you. Because I'm going to, if you represent yourself, assume that you know how to act as an attorney.
We know he don't know how to act, Mr. Shebang.
So it won't be any leeway. It will be just as if you're supposed to know exactly what's going on. So that's why standby counsel is being gracious enough to continue forward. That way we can make sure that you have all the information that you need, okay? All right, I want to set this matter for a PCC 2 weeks from now, which brings us to April 29th at 8:30 a.m. That way, all the information can be given. We can meet back online to make sure you have everything you need, Mr. Williams. I am gonna ensure that. Make sure you have all the documents so you understand what they're saying about you, okay?
I mean, they would have to send them to me. I don't have anything. I have nothing of this case.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I, Mr. Williams, I called you yesterday. You have my number. I told you to send me over your email. I'll forward you everything I get as soon as I get it. You got to send me your email to the phone number I provided yesterday.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Well, I can't. I'm not a government agency or a law enforcement officer.
All right. So this one, I managed to get the second, I don't know, second running of it. They deleted the first part before I got my hands on it, but the only thing that we missed is, obviously the reading of the charges, and that it's, a change of plea, and she's going to be accepting a plea for a DUI that resulted in the unaliving of someone.
Because it's a 3-year supervised, anytime I do supervised probation, it's a DOCR sentence. Okay. All right, we're back on the record in State of North Dakota versus Amber Patel, 37-2024 CR 56. Time is now 2:46 p.m. on April 15, 2025. Attorney Kelly is present for the state. Attorney Chisholm is present for the defendant. The defendant personally appears. We took a brief recess in the middle of the change of plea to answer a question about duplicity and multiplicity. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Your Honor. And thanks, Your Honor, for the time to research this issue. The state, in the interest of justice and in the furtherance of the state's goal to not get appealed on this issue, the state read North Dakota cases that have analyzed the US v. Blockberger, US 284, US 299. It's a 1932 case. Most recent case I see citing it in North Dakota is Paterka v. State, 864 Northwest 2nd, 745. At heading or case head 13, there's a summary of one of the holdings in that case, which is the court analyzes each offense to determine whether each offense contains an element not contained in the other. If not, they are the same offense, and double jeopardy bars additional punishment and successive prosecution. Therefore, because in this case, the way count one is charged out, that has a different or additional element than count two, but I cannot say the same for count two. Count two does not contain an element that's not already contained in count one, and for that reason, state hereby motions to dismiss count two.
And with prejudice, in light of the plea to count one?
I think so, yes.
All right. And Ms. Chisholm, no objection to dismissal of count two?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. And so the court is going to reject the plea that was offered to count two. The court is going to grant the state's motion to dismiss count two with prejudice under the Blockberger test and Paterka v. State. So, Ms. Patel, we were sort of halfway through this change of plea. You have offered a guilty plea to count one. Is that still what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kelly, a brief factual basis with respect to count one.
Yes, Your Honor. As set forth in docket number 2, which is the affidavit of probable cause, it is alleged that the defendant committed DUI essentially by operating a motor vehicle within Ransom County, North Dakota on or about the 6th day of August 2024 in Ransom County, when the defendant was operating or was in actual physical control at the time. The defendant had multiple prescription drugs in her system, including ibuprofen, duloxetine, cyclobenzaprine, gabapentin, amfetadextroam, apiprazole, buspirone, furosemide, tizanidine, and that the defendant had described herself as having been dizzy or drowsy. She admitted in her multiple comments to law enforcement that she had taken some of her medications in amounts that exceeded the prescription amount for that day. Multiple bottles of the prescription found on the scene by law enforcement included warnings against being dizzy or drowsy warnings. Ms. Patel said she felt woozy, her arm was tingly, she had trouble opening her eyes wide, etc. And then in addition to the affidavit of probable cause, Your Honor, later the state got lab results back from the state toxicologist showing that all of those drugs aforementioned or their metabolites were in the sample that had been taken from the defendant shortly after the incident, Your Honor. And because of the driving and the DUI status of the defendant, there was a motor vehicle accident wherein the defendant rear-ended victim with initials JWR, which led directly to victim JWR's death shortly thereafter.
You're alleging that the substances that Ms. Patel had in her system were drugs as defined by Title 1903.1.
They were prescriptions, but yet they say right on the bottle not to operate heavy machinery or motor vehicle. They may cause drowsiness or dizziness. I know because I have a few of them in my medical cabinet. So, yeah, you're not supposed to drive on them.
And that her consumption of those items rendered her unsafe to operate a motor vehicle at the time that she ended up in the traffic accident,
Yes, Your Honor.
and that occurred in Ransom County.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Chisholm, do you agree a sufficient factual basis exists?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Patel, is that essentially what happened?
But the accident? Or-
So what the state has alleged is that you committed the offense of DUI, and on top of the DUI, and as a result of being under the influence, that you caused the death of JWR. Is that essentially what happened on or about that date in Ransom County?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything that you want to add with respect to the factual basis, or anything that you disagree with respect to the factual basis?
The dizziness and stuff, I just had a really bad head concussion. I don't understand that.
Do you agree that you consumed controlled substances or drugs that were prescribed to you?
Yes, sir.
And do you agree that because of your consumption of those substances, that they impaired your ability to safely drive?
I don't agree that they impaired my ability because it was my bipolar medication, a lot of it.
Okay, so what you're pleading guilty to is a DUI plus causing the death. And I think the end result of death is not in question at all.
Yes, sir.
The question is whether or not you agree to the DUI portion, because you're pleading guilty to criminal vehicular homicide. I'm not going to force you to enter a guilty plea or not. If you want to have a trial, we can have a trial. Your attorney can't force you to enter into a guilty plea. Your attorney is not forcing you to enter into a guilty plea. It's entirely up to you. But if you don't agree the facts exist to support the guilty plea, then I won't accept your plea and we'll just have a trial. So it's entirely up to you on how you want to proceed. You either agree to the facts and say that's what happened. You don't agree with the facts and you say that's not what happened and I want a trial. Or you say that I've reviewed the discovery and I think that there is a substantial likelihood that I'd be convicted at trial, and I'm knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entering a guilty plea, and I'm doing so asking the court to give me the benefit of the bargain if there's a bargain that has been offered, or you're simply pleading guilty to accept whatever mercy the court decides to impose at the time. So there's three options there. The first is saying I agree with the facts. The second is saying I don't agree with the facts and I want a trial. And the third is saying I don't necessarily agree with the facts, but I'm pleading guilty.
No, if the state patrolsman said that, then I'm gonna have to agree with the facts.
Well, just stick with me. I want to make sure that everything's clear. So you have three options. One is an outright unconditional guilty plea where you're saying I agree an adequate factual basis exists because that's what happened. Okay. Option two is saying I don't agree with the factual basis. Judge, don't accept my plea, and then we'll have a trial. The thing that's in between there is called an Alford plea, and an Alford plea means that you're pleading guilty knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently, and you're doing so freely. No one's forcing you to do it. You've reviewed the discovery. You might not agree with all the facts, but you think that the state can prove it at trial and that there's a substantial likelihood that if a jury believes what the state has to offer, that you'd be convicted, and you're pleading guilty knowing that you don't agree with all the facts, and you're doing so to accept the benefit of the bargain or to seek the court's mercy in sentencing. So those are your options. Is that essentially what happened?
Yes, sir.
So again, you agree that you consumed substances that are drugs,
Yes, sir.
and you're at least acknowledging that there's a substantial likelihood that the jury would find that your consumption of those drugs rendered you unsafe to drive in Ransom County on or about the date alleged, and that your consumption of those substances rendered or caused the accident that resulted in JWR's passing.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kelly, do you agree that based on the court's explanation that a sufficient and adequate factual basis exists?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Chisholm, do you agree that under North Carolina versus Alford, a sufficient factual basis exists to support your client's plea?
Yes, Your Honor, I think the court adequately explained it.
All right. And so at this time, the court is going to accept the guilty plea. I'm going to find that the guilty plea is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered. The court is going to find under North Carolina versus Alford an adequate factual basis to support the guilty plea. The parties have jointly requested the court order a pre-sentence investigation report. Mr. Kelly, are you after a psychological report to go with it, or are you simply asking for a general PSI?
Just a general PSI, Your Honor.
Ms. Chisholm, are you asking for the psychological component to be done? The reason why I'm asking is it certainly delays the process a substantial amount. Often when I order a psychological report to be done in the addendum, it results in an extra 60 to 90 days for that report to be prepared and included in the addendum. What are you asking for?
The concern that I have, Your Honor, is Ms. Patel has been diagnosed with bipolar, so I don't think asking the court to order the psychological component would be a bad idea. I'm not concerned about the delay aspect of it. I'm more concerned about the adequacy of a pre-sentence investigation for the court's consideration.
Is Ms. Patel a member of the military? Is it report coming from the VA, or is the report coming from Human Services?
Would be from Human Services, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Strom, do we have some dates? Probably between 90 and 120. Just for the record, the case as of today's date is 246 days for Administrative Rule 12 purposes. Sentencing is going to be scheduled within 120 days. And that'll still put us under the 365-day AR-12 time standard for disposing of a case of this magnitude. So you can make August 14 at 9 work?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Chisholm?
I think that should work, Your Honor.
All right. Sentencing is going to be scheduled for August 14, 2025 in the Ransom County Courthouse in Lisbon, North Dakota at 9 a.m. Ms. Patel, at that time, be prepared to be taken into custody because you'll be sentenced on that date. The court does forthwith sentencing. And just so you know, this offense carries with it a 3-year minimum mandatory penalty. So the options, no matter what, will involve prison time. So be prepared to go to jail on that day, have all of your affairs done in order, have all of that ready to go. In the meantime, the court is going to order a pre-sentence investigation report under North Dakota Rule of Criminal Procedure 32. The court is going to order as a component of that pre-sentence investigation report that the defendant obtain a psychological examination and risk assessment to the extent that a risk assessment can be performed in a non-sexual offense. The court is going to require that to be done by the Department of Health and Human Services. The Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation will do the pre-sentence investigation report. I will prepare an order. It probably will be filed tomorrow, and that order will detail the timelines for participation in the pre-sentence investigation process and that secondary psychological report that DHHS will need to do. In Lisbon, I think, and I might be misspeaking here, it's either Jamestown or Fargo that covers this location. I think it's Fargo, but I'm not 100% certain. But nevertheless, it will be one of those 2 regional human service centers that will do that psychological examination The court is requiring it to be done by a Tier 1A mental health professional, and the order will detail all of the technical requirements. Nevertheless, Ms. Patel, you have now pleaded guilty to the offense. The court has accepted your plea, and now we're in a post-adjudication pre-sentence phase, which means that you have now waived your right to remain silent, and you will now be required to fully participate in and cooperate with not only the pre-sentence investigation report writer, but also the psychologist that prepares the pre-sentence report, psychological report, which will be included in the addendum of the PSI. To understand your requirement to fully cooperate with both the DOCR and DHHS.
Yes, sir.
And do you understand when you need to be back in court?
Yes, sir, August 14th.
August 14 at 9 a.m., fully prepared to take whatever punishment the court imposes. And we will see you back then. The court will continue bail on the same form as amount as previously entered. Mr. Kelly, did I miss anything today?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Chisholm, did I miss anything?
No, Your Honor, if we could just address one issue.
And what is the one issue?
Previously, the court has ordered Ms. Patel to refrain from driving a motor vehicle. That has created a large issue for her in getting to and from her appointments in regards to her physical and mental health. We are asking the court to reconsider allowing her to drive in a motor vehicle until the August 14th date.
Does she have a valid license in light of the implied consent issue that would have been created as of the date of the offense?
I would have to look, Your Honor, but it's her understanding that she does. I have a valid driver's license.
That would be surprising to me if she has a valid privilege right now.
I thought I did. Maybe your own.
You also thought that it was okay to take a cocktail of prescriptions and drive a vehicle while you were woozy. So your judgment may be a little suspect.
Mr. Kelly, your thoughts?
Your Honor, but for the pre-sentence investigation, the defendant, which was admittedly at the state's request as well, Your Honor, but for a pre-sentence investigation, the defendant would be going to jail now, and the public would be protected from potential unsafe driving, et cetera. Also, the state does not know the current prescription list and current practices of prescription consumption by the defendant. And so the state has the same concerns that were present previously. Your Honor, thank you.
The court's considered the bail review request at this point. While I certainly understand and appreciate this defendant's the logistical difficulties raised by the no driving provision, the court finds that it's appropriate and necessary under the circumstances. I'm going to deny the request to delete the condition that the defendant not operate a motor vehicle for any reason. In part because I don't think you have a license. And if you don't have a license or valid privileges, even if I deleted that condition, it still would be a violation of condition 1, which is that you remain law abiding and you not violate any laws of any city, county, state, or nation. And so it's really a double condition, and I'm not willing to waive the one when I think it also implicates the other. So at this point, I'm going to deny the request. You can always revisit the concerns, but you understand what Mr. Kelly is making in terms of his argument, that there's still a concern for public safety in light of the nature of the offense. And for the court's from the court's perspective, there's that concern. And also, if you're not validly licensed, it also means you're not validly insured, and it raises all sorts of public safety concerns and public policy concerns. So at this point, I deny the request. Anything else, Mr. Kelly?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Chisholm, anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
With that, we are adjourned. Have a good day. We'll see you back in August.
So somebody's gonna reach out.
Yeah. She doesn't even think she did anything wrong. That's the worst part about it. She was arguing that, well, yeah, I took my prescriptions and drove, but it was just my prescriptions. Like, okay, yeah, I'm prescribed enough prescriptions to put a horse down. That's why I don't drive when I take them. You know, that blew my mind that her attorney would even ask that. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Good afternoon.
All right, Missy, are you ready to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, Judge.
All right, this is Greenwood County
Oh,
District.
sorry, let me start there we go. Now I'm ready.
This is Greenwood County District Court first appearance docket on April 15th of 2025. This date appears by and through Ms. Jill Gillette, the Greenwood County Attorney. We'll start with who's in custody. Sir, are you Mr. Squire or Mr. Wilson?
No, ma'am. Evelyn Carmichael.
Yes, I'm not speaking to you right now. I'm speaking, put your view in gallery so you can see everybody, please.
Okay.
Thanks. There you go. So the gentleman that's in the Greenwood County Jail, what is your name, sir?
Gerald Wilson.
Okay. Ms. Gillette, I don't have a file. Was there a late filing on this one?
He was filed today, yes. This brand new cases just happened.
Right. Did you get a case filed?
Yes, it is 25 CR 46.
Okay. Hopefully Amy is viewing this, my AA, and will print the information out. And then I'll get back to you, sir. He is the only one that's in custody today, is that correct?
No, ma'am, we have Mr. Gary Thornburg.
Okay.
They're co-defendants, Your Honor. That case is 25 CR 45.
I have that filing. I just, before the lunch hour, didn't have Mr. Wilson's filing.
We
So,
can switch, Your Honor.
okay, sounds good. Sir, are you Gary Thornburg?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you've been charged in Greenwood County District Court by the prosecutor with 1 count of possession of marijuana and 1 count of possession of paraphernalia. It's alleged in count 1 that on or about the 12th day of April 2025 in Greenwood County, Kansas, you did knowingly and unlawfully possess a hallucinogenic drug, to wit, THC and or commonly referred to as marijuana, and that you have a prior conviction out of Bates County Circuit Court in Missouri. I'm not sure when that conviction was, but the prosecutor has charged it because she believes that she can prove the prior conviction enhances this charge if you're convicted, which would make a conviction on possession of marijuana second a Class A non-person misdemeanor. The maximum sentence you could receive is time in the county jail of up to 1 year and a $2,500 fine. There are no mandatory minimums associated with this. However, generally you're required to obtain at some point a drug and alcohol evaluation and follow any recommendations. Count 2, it's alleged that you had a smoking pipe that they believe you possessed to be able to inhale or ingest or otherwise introduce an illegal substance in your body, to wit, THC or marijuana. That's a B, non-person misdemeanor. Misdemeanors range from A to C, and then they're unclassified, and then there's traffic. A being the highest, C being the lowest as far as classifications are concerned. The possession of marijuana is an A, the possession of drug paraphernalia is a B. So the maximum for that is 6 months in the county jail and $1,000 fine. Typically, the distinction between a felony and a misdemeanor is you're only exposed to county jail time if you're convicted, but not prison time. And felonies, generally, you serve your time in prison. Okay, so, all right. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas for you. Where are you from, sir?
Missouri, ma'am. Is there any way I can get an OR to get back to where I can get some things going? I got family and stuff.
Yeah, probably not an OR, but let's see what we can do. Why don't you just
I
finish?
can only come up with 100 is all I can come up with.
Okay, so where do you live in Missouri?
In Rich Hill,
I will need an address.
I can't remember it.
Where do you work?
For Dawn's Towing and for a farmer on the weekends.
What were you doing in Greenwood County?
I was riding with my brother-in-law to pick up a friend of his girlfriend. That's all I was doing.
Okay, where were you headed to or from?
They were headed to back to Nevada when we got pulled over.
Okay. Well, you're going to need to hire an attorney, or when you appear again in front of Judge Webster, you'll have to be prepared to waive your right to counsel, one or the other. Since you're employed, I assume that you can afford to pay for an attorney. What is the recommendation on bond, Ms. Gillette?
What's the recommendation on bond?
Ms. Gillette?
Since he's out of state, he has a record there. I would ask for 2,000 cash or professional surety.
So does he have any felony convictions out of Missouri that you can see?
He had a prior arrest. I believe there was a conviction. Let me look and make sure whether or not it was a conviction for distribution. Yes, guilty for felony distribution.
No,
Sir,
not me. Not me, man.
Okay, are you currently on parole or probation?
No, I'm not.
Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna set your bond at 1,500 cash or surety.
That's 150.
It depends on if a bondsman will trust you enough to take a risk on you. Some bondsmen won't even bond out of state folks. So it just really, it depends on the bondsman. You can post cash and get it back at the conclusion of your case, or you can work.
How much is that? $1,000 some odd dollars?
Yeah, it would either be 1,500 cash or you work something out with the bondsman.
All right.
Okay, you're gonna have to make sure that you have good address and telephone number for any bondsman. But I think you can figure out how to make your bond, post your bond, and come up with an attorney, at least to give you advice. And I'm gonna reset your case to give you an opportunity to do that in front of Judge Webster. What date will that be, Missy?
It will May 20th at 3:30.
Okay. Is that a docket?
Yes, it is.
Sir, I'm going to forewarn you that you can appear by Zoom.
Yes.
You have to know what you're doing. You have to have
Okay.
a Zoom app. You have to get an ID and a password. You have to know how to put those in. You have to live, it sounds like you live out in rural Oklahoma. You have to have high-speed internet. And you have to have a good connection. Otherwise, Judge Webster will find that you failed to appear and issue a warrant. So if you have any questions about that, you need to go to a resource that can assist you, or just come to Greenwood County. If you're at the house, they will always facilitate your appearance for you, and you'll never be found to be a failure to appear.
Or there's these magical places. Some call them libraries. I refer to them as libraries, but after watching hundreds of hours of court dockets, I've come to the conclusion that I am incorrect, and it is library. But they do offer internet there.
Okay, so
Okay.
just be very careful with that. Your court date's May 20th at 3:30 in the afternoon, all right? No alcohol and no drugs.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
That's 150 to.
Your Honor, since there's co-defendants, no contact with the
Well, it's his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I can say that, but they're gonna violate it.
okay?
I think there's probably independent evidence for both of them, so, I don't think I'm going to. Thank you
Okay.
for asking.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, sometimes again, the bondsman will add stipulations that are separate from what the court's ordered as a contractual agreement with you for them to take the risk of signing your bond.
Right.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Missy, is there any way that you could Gmail me Gerald Richard Wilson's charging document at my Gmail?
Yeah, if I have your email address, I can.
It's all lowercase.
Okay.
Last name, first name at gmail.com. Lowercase. Okay. Ms. Carmichael. In 24 TR 114, you were charged with driving while suspended and speeding that arose out of an incident occurring March 20th, 2025. And you were driving a Ford Focus.
Now, I am pretty sure that we have seen Mr. Squire before. I'm quite confident that I recognize that lack of ceiling.
The driving while suspended, I can't tell if it's a first, second, or third. So I'm going to assume that it's a first. Is there a formal complaint that's been filed with this, Ms. Gillette? Or just the ticket?
It was the ticket and it's a first.
Okay. All right. So if you're convicted of driving while suspended, that is a first offense is a B misdemeanor. Maximum $1,000, 6 months in jail, mandatory minimum $100 fine. There is no mandatory minimum jail time, but on a second offense conviction, there is a 5-day mandatory minimum. So it is enhanced with subsequent convictions, and it can result in extended or further suspension of your license. Do you know why your license is suspended?
When I went to the DMV the next day, Judge, they said it was because of a missed insurance, which I contacted my insurance provider and they sent in the necessary information and they reinstated it the next day.
Okay. So if you're eligible for reinstatement, I would hope or you were eligible because of some error, I would hope that count would be dismissed.
Judge, she did get on it the very next day, and got her insurance in that day. So I will dismiss count 2, which will only leave speeding and infraction.
Okay. So do you want a trial on the 89 to 65 or do you want to plead guilty?
No, I don't want a trial. Sorry.
Okay. So you want to plead guilty to speeding?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Judge.
I'm sure, I don't know if this was a trooper or sheriff's officer, but I'm sure they clocked you. They wouldn't generally write you a ticket just for visually estimating your speed, so it was probably locked in. And the fine is usually $50 and then $100 for every 10 miles over, or something like that. Do you have do you know the fine and cost with this by chance, Ms. Gillette?
Let me look, Judge, and see if I can find it. It's $6 for every 10 miles per hour over.
Oh, okay. So speeding fines and cost in a, was it 89 to 65?
Yes.
65. I missed 65.
45 plus 18 should be the speed. Fine. I have it down as $73, Your Honor.
Oh, that's
plus the court cost of $108.
That's what gets you is the court costs. So 75 and 108 is 183.
I had it as 181.
No, check your math. Check your math.
How long will you need to pay that ticket?
Most likely by the end of this month or next month, Judge.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 60 days. If you don't pay it or contact the clerk and get an extension from the court, then they will refer this to collections, which you don't want to happen. Plus, they have to notify Department of Motor Vehicles that you haven't taken care of a citation, which could, again, result in a suspension eventually, which you don't want again.
No, Judge, I will make sure to pay the ticket.
All right, slow down, speed kills, and it costs you a lot of money with your insurance when you get tickets, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Judge.
All right. You take care, all right?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're free to go and you have no other obligation other than to contact the court and figure out how you're gonna make payment. I think you can do it online to Topeka.
Yes,
Okay?
Judge.
Nothing
Thank you.
I get or we get here locally. So, okay, thank you for your time. You're free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
The iPhone, are you Emily Medford?
No, I'm Tiana Richardson.
Okay, I'll grab your file, except Mr. Squire's been here longer.
You can, yeah, Mr. Squires is first.
Appreciate it. I'm sure he does too. All right, Mr. Squire, you're here on 25 TR 81 and you are James Squire. You posted bond to appear $1,500. I will approve that bond since you have appropriately appeared. You're charged with the driving while suspended third.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Your Honor, that evening I was walking down the highway with my daughter, and the Greenwood County Sheriff picked me up on the side of the highway when we were trying to walk back to the house.
Okay, now that's where you stop.
He didn't visually see me driving the truck. He didn't.
Okay.
Anything.
Okay. How old was your daughter?
She was 3.
Okay, well, she couldn't be the driver, right? All right.
Right.
Don't say anymore. You can, yeah, someone could have inferred if you left a car and you were on foot that you had been the one driving it if it was your car. But nonetheless, I think you need to talk to an attorney about it. So I am going to enter a not guilty plea. I was just trying to explain to you that on a third offense, depending on how it falls, it could require 90 days in the county jail be served. It's a maximum of 1 year and a maximum of a $2,500 fine. So it is a serious offense. Are you going to be able to hire your own attorney, or do you want me to consider appointing counsel for you?
Can you appoint counsel for me?
All right. Where are you currently living, Mr. Squire?
With my dad in Beaumont?
Okay. And are you working?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm helping my cousin. He has his own trailer place.
Are you getting a paycheck with taxes being withheld and all of that? Do you get a W-2 at the end of the year?
No. Not.
All right.
I'm trying.
So,
to-
okay. So have you filed
Get
taxes?
a vehicle running for it. I got it from off the side of the highway. It caught fire, and I just got it running. And I was
Okay.
going to take it to town and get tags and insurance on it.
Well, you just screwed yourself. Good job, buddy. Way to keep silent.
Okay. Well, you're also charged in count 2 with not having proper registration. That's unclassified, so it's a maximum 30 days, $500 fine, and then not having proof of insurance. That's a mandatory $300 fine. It's charged as a first offense, 6 months, $1,000. So as I indicated, these are serious offenses. They are misdemeanors. I've entered not guilty pleas on all of them. Today's not your trial. It's just a time where I advise you of the possible sentence you could receive if you're actually convicted of these charges. And then I make sure that you have a new trial date and that you can hire counsel or counsel is appointed for you. Did you file your taxes today or before today for last year?
My sister's working on that with me. She does taxes.
Okay. Do you know how much you made last year?
Roughly 25,000, but half of my income goes to my ex-wife for child support.
All right.
And I have another family I'm trying to raise too on that.
Okay. Well, I'll find that you're partially indigent, and how that should work. I'm not sure about Greenwood County. Is that if you're convicted of any or all of the offenses, you're going to have to repay at least $250 in attorney's fees. If you're not convicted, you don't pay anything. And at least you don't have to pay several thousand up front to retain an attorney and then pay him by an hourly rate of probably about $200 an hour. So this is an hour's worth of work for what most attorneys charge, and you pay it as part of your court costs in the case. So it's not free, but it's not very much either. All right. So is Shannon Cooper,
Okay.
who's doing the misdemeanor contract
Richard.
defense?
Richard.
Richard Paw?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll appoint Richard Paw to represent you. And your next court,
Where's he?
he is an attorney in Wichita. You can look him up, Richard Paw, P-A-U-G-H, not P-A-W.
P-A-U-G-H?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have your pen?
Well, I had it. I don't know where it went.
Missy, could you just message him the telephone number?
Yes, I will email you the telephone number when we get done with this docket.
I got it right here. I got it.
You got a pen? He's breaking up so much. I think we ought to just message him.
I can do that.
Okay, but we need to tell him what his court date is. And so you might put that in the message too. What is his court date?
May 9th at 10 o'clock.
May 9th at 10?
Yeah. She's just gonna message you the telephone number and then you can write it down and have it.
Okay.
And if you lose it, you can always Google the number, his name.
Okay.
Okay, May 9th at 10. You better have a better connection for Judge Webster. You can't be moving around. You got to be in a spot where you have a very good internet connection, and it really needs to be high-speed internet, okay, for you to appear by Zoom. All right.
Okay.
Any questions?
Nope.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
We are adjourned on your case. Okay. Tiana Richard.
It's Tiana.
Tiana, excuse me.
It's okay. I get Tiana all the time. It's the Y. It's the Y.
You've also posted a bond of $1,000 surety
Mm-hmm.
to appear today, which I will approve. You also have been charged with possessing marijuana, only it's indicating that it's a first offense. And so it's a Class B non-person misdemeanor, maximum 6 months in the county jail, $1,000 fine, no mandatory minimum. And then it's alleged that you had.
I was riding with a friend in a friend's car. We were on the way back from a basketball game.
Okay.
I didn't have anything on my person. He found this in the car.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, if it's within your reach and proximity.
oh, is that why? Okay, is that that's why? Okay, that makes sense. Because I was so confused. Like, I don't know what's going on. I didn't have anything, but I just want to get it solved. I just found out I'm pregnant. Well, I've been in denial apparently for a couple of months. I've been thinking I was constipated, but the belly's not going away. So I went to the doctor today, and I just want to get whatever I need to do to resolve it.
No drugs or alcohol. You're charged with vape pen paraphernalia.
Yeah.
That's also a B misdemeanor.
Okay.
6 months, $1,000. Do you have a diversion program for first time marijuana charges?
I'm in Wichita, so we may.
Hang on, I'm asking the prosecutor.
Oh, I thought you were asking me. Okay.
That's okay.
I have a first time marijuana diversion program if they qualify with all their criminal history. So yes.
What's your concern, Ms. Richardson, about looking at diversion?
What that just means that I do whatever you told, right? And then it goes off my record. Is that how that works? I don't have any concern as long as it's in Wichita. I can get whatever done. Like I said, I just want to get it passed and moved. I work for the school, so I don't want anything like this on my record or anything. So
okay, well, I wouldn't either. You can hire an attorney at any time you wish.
Mm-hmm.
If you do a diversion on your own, you're going to have to waive counsel.
Okay.
Is this something that you can mail, or does she have to execute that in your presence?
She needs to call my office, and I have a diversion coordinator that will work with her on getting
very good
application filled out.
Okay.
It's 620
620
583
583
8171.
8171. And do I just call and say I'm Tiana and I need to talk to somebody about diversion?
Yes. Do you have your case number to be able to?
I have the ticket somewhere, but if you could give it to me again, that would be probably really helpful.
25 CR10.
20. My pen just went out. Hold on. 25 TR, like my name.
CR.
Oh, CR10.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I think we want to give her a court date probably in late June to give her plenty of time to execute a diversion if that's what she's going to do. Otherwise, you just need to appear and schedule a trial date or ask.
Oh no, I'm just gonna do the diversion like you said.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow your advice. So.
Okay. Well, I'm not really advising you. I'm just telling you.
Well, I appreciate you telling me the options.
Okay.
Do it that way.
No problem. Missy, can we have a later date for her?
Yeah. Let's go.
I do have a question whenever you get a chance. Well,
how about June 24th at 3:30?
That's perfect. That's fine for me.
Okay. And if you have that all executed and you get the green light from the prosecutor's office, from the diversion coordinator, you may not have to even appear. As
Okay.
long as everything's in order. But just
Okay.
follow her instructions, okay? Give her a
Okay,
call.
yes, ma'am.
Write down that court date though, June 24th at 3:30.
Okay, June 24th at 3:30. And I
Okay,
would appear, if I do have to appear, it would be just like how I did now?
Yep.
Okay.
What, was that your question?
No, my question was gonna be, well, since I'm in Wichita, is this diversion like something I'm gonna have to come there for, or?
You might have to once or twice to report. I'm not sure.
Some of it can be mailed, like the
Okay.
big part is to be mailed.
Okay, I just needed to know if I need to like prepare somebody that they're gonna have to drive me
Okay.
there or no.
Okay. Well, just work with the diversion coordinator. I'm sure that they will be considerate of you. Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great day. Do I just do I just call that? I don't need an email or anything from you. I just call that number and go from there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I'll call them when we hang up.
Okay, they actually answer the phone. So
Okay.
all
Thank
right.
you so much. You have a great day and a happy
You
Easter.
too. Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Did Emily Mefford appear?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Mefford, you have charges in case number 25 CR 29. It is a felony charge that you knowingly harbored or concealed one Simon Garza, knowing that he was wanted by law authorities for either an arrest warrant or some other reason. And you assisted him in trying to avoid arrest or escape. It's alleged that this occurred on or about March 6th of 2025. It is a level 8 non-person felony. If convicted, the sentencing range is 7 months up to 23 months with the Department of Corrections and up to $100,000 fine. As long as you don't have any person felonies, you may be presumptive probation unless there are any special rules that apply. But again, it is a felony charge, so I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for you. I cannot take pleas on felonies at first appearances. You are entitled to a probable cause hearing, and I will schedule that for you in front of Judge Webster. Are you going to retain an attorney to represent you, or do you want the court to consider if you qualify for court-appointed counsel?
Yeah, if you may see if I qualify for appointed.
Okay. Do you own a home?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you work?
Yes.
And do you work 40 hours a week?
No.
How much?
Probably 20, maybe.
Okay. Do you know how much you make a month?
It varies, but I average about 25 to 30,000 a year.
Okay, that would put you outside of, it's very low minimal threshold for court-appointed counsel.
Okay.
And have you filed your taxes?
No, not yet.
Okay, today's the date.
What, the last date to file?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have any idea? Did you get W-2s or anything? Do you know what you made last year?
Last year I made 20, 21, I think is what I added up.
Do you have any children that you support?
Yes, I have 4. One just moved out.
The 3 are all under 18?
No, one just turned 18 September.
Okay.
But
So
I have two that are, I have a 14 and a 7.
okay, well, that's gonna qualify you for court-appointed counsel then. All right, Missy, who is on the rotation for court-appointed counsel on felony?
Judge, I'll have to look because there's several co-defendants, several different cases,
Okay.
and it's going to take a little while to find an attorney.
Okay. All right. You did post a $10,000 surety bond with AAA, which I will approve. When can we schedule a prelim for her?
We usually set these for preliminary hearing controls, and I have a date of May 9th at 1:30.
And then how will you notify her of who her court-appointed counsel is?
She'll need to call in the first of next week.
Okay. So if you would do that, otherwise, when you appear May 9th, you're gonna get introduced to your attorney.
Actually, it's not May 9th. I think I
Do I call the county attorney for
No,
the, okay,
hang on, we'll get you the number.
okay.
yeah, it is. I'm sorry, it is May 9th at 1:30.
Okay, so your court date's May 9th at 1:30. You post a bond. We're gonna appoint you counsel. We'll tell you next week who it is. And the number you need to call is what?
620.
Okay.
And you're to have, you just need to follow your bond as far as no contact and conditions of bond. Okay? It's all right there written in your appearance bond.
Yes.
And I'll continue on it. Anything further, Miss Gillette?
No, not from the state.
Okay. Did you get that number written down to call next week to secure an attorney?
Yes.
All
Thank
right,
you, Judge.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned. All right, Mr. Wilson, I'm finally ready for you. You were charged in Greenwood County District Court, case number 2025 CR 46, with driving under the influence. It's alleged that on or about the 12th day of April 2025 in Greenwood County, Kansas, you did unlawfully and knowingly operate or attempt to operate any vehicle under the influence of alcohol to a degree that rendered you incapable of safely driving a vehicle. It's not alleged that there is any blood alcohol intoxilizer results. So I don't know if you couldn't give a sample or if you refused. A refusal can be part of the evidence in the case, but at any rate, it's charged as the first offense. And a first offense carries a maximum of $1,000 fine and 6 months in the county jail. If you're convicted, if you don't get a diversion or you don't qualify for diversion, if you're convicted, you must do 48 hours in the sheriff's office or county jail. And generally the judge will give you credit for time served if you have 2 full consecutive days. And there's a minimum $750 fine and costs, and there's some other programs and assessments that you have to do as part of your case if you're convicted. They also charged you with possessing marijuana, THC. And so this could be a charge of, no, it's just alcohol. It's not a combination of alcohol and drugs. So on count 2, you're charged with possessing THC, commonly referred to as marijuana, which is still against the law in Kansas. A simple possession, first offense, is also a B, non-person misdemeanor, maximum 6 months, $1,000 fine. There are no mandatory minimums if convicted of the marijuana charge. Count 3 is a charge of paraphernalia. It's alleged that you had a smoking pipe. That's considered paraphernalia if you smoke it with the intent to inhale or ingest an illegal substance like marijuana.
What if he doesn't inhale?
It's also a B misdemeanor, no mandatory minimum, 6 months, $1,000 fine. It's alleged that on or about the same day, April 12th, 2025 in Greenwood County, Kansas, that you were driving on the wrong side or wrong lane of the road. And that's an infraction, so it's a fine, no jail time. A defective driver's rear view mirror, that's fine or a fix-it ticket. And transporting an open container, it's alleged that there were some alcohol shooters Within your location or reach is the driver. And so that's considered transporting an open container. I assume maybe the seal had been broken. And so that's unclassified, but it's 90 days and up to a $500 fine. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas for you. Do you have one more? Nope, that's it. You have 6 counts. I would say the most serious of which, several of them are serious, but the most serious of which is the DUI. It can result in losing your driving privilege.
Right, yes, yes, I understand that.
And so are you going to hire an attorney to
Ma'am,
represent?
I'd like to hire attorney. I buried my wife last month and it took a lot of my money that I can't even bond out, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean, she died February 16th of this year. And that's when, and I was wanting to get out of here to go to rehab for the drinking and the marijuana smoke, you know what I mean? Because I've been doing that to block it out. So, you know what I mean? I know now that's wrong. I mean, I can't do that. But I got a bunch of medical issues going on with me too, you know what I mean? I got a hernia and my blood pressure's been really high and everything.
Okay.
You know.
All right. First things first. Let's see if you qualify for counsel. Are you currently full-time employed?
Pretty much. Yeah, I do concrete work where I work. I work in Nevada. My boss is Dick Meisenheimer.
Where do you live?
In Nevada, Nevada, Missouri.
Okay. What's the address?
And I got responsibilities there, man. I just need to get out of here. I need, you know what I mean?
What were you doing in Greenwood County?
I was stupid enough to help a buddy go pick his girlfriend up from Wichita and got me on the way back.
Okay.
And they, you know, and they went ahead and took my car, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Okay.
The cops didn't, they took it. The cops let them take it. Or I did, whatever.
All right. What's the recommendation on bond in this case?
Judge, he's from Missouri, so again, cash or surety bond. I'm going to recommend 20 cash or professional surety.
How much?
2,500.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at 1,500 cash or surety, but you'll have to wear a scram bracelet on your ankle to make sure you're not drinking and have GPS so we can keep track of you. A bondsman would probably make you do that anyway. If we have any expedited court dates, the quickest court date we could get him is probably the best in case he doesn't get bonded out.
So what's the bond now?
1,500 cash or surety with GPS and scram.
$1,500?
Yes.
Oh, I can't do that. There's no way I can do that. I got a dog, man. I need out of here for real. I got some medical issues like a hernia.
Okay. Well, they'll address any serious medical issues.
They told me they wouldn't.
You will detox. Well, they're not going to.
I've already I've been here 4 days, ma'am.
Okay.
I've been here 4 days already.
Okay.
Were we going to appoint an attorney for him?
Yes.
So $1,500, that would be $150.
Depends on what the bondsman wants from you. You'll have to work that out with the bondsman.
Okay. So it's $1,500 bond.
Yep.
Okay.
And yes,
we can probably put him on April 29th at 3:30.
Okay. April 29th at 3:30 is your court date.
Okay.
And
But if I get bonded out, I just still be then?
yes.
Okay. All right.
And we're going to appoint you an attorney. Who is that?
Richard Paw.
Okay. Richard Paw out of Wichita. They'll write down his name and hopefully the jail has his number. They'll write down your court date and your bondsman will take all the information down as well.
Wasn't Paul assigned to his brother-in-law's case too? Wouldn't that be a conflict of interest?
April 29th at 3:30.
Okay.
No drugs or alcohol. I would suggest if you're able to make any phone calls, you figure out
Well, I was
a,
trying to get into some kind of program in
Yeah.
Nevada, Compass or Pathways.
if you can prove that there's a bed available for you, Judge Webster can always reconsider your bond as long as you're going to a treatment facility, but you have to have one lined up and a bed ready for you to go to.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
We are adjourned. Anything else, Miss Gillette?
That's the last one I had.
All right. Very good. Missy, are we
I think we're done.
good? Okay.
Yep. Thank you for covering.
Sure. All right.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
All right, this is 25 TOR 147, State versus Chico Wilson. Mr. Wilson, looking at the files here, it looks like back on April 11th, so 4 days ago, it says you failed to appear in Judge Sylvester's court. He issued a bench warrant, $10,000 cash for professional surety. If you make that bond, you need to be back in court this Friday, April 18th at 1:30. Looks like you already have an attorney and had a first appearance, so that's all you need to do. If you make bond, you need to be back in court April 18th at 1:30.
Judge, this is Mark.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that I had court April 11th because the girls baseball has that league baseball has started back up on Friday, and I went did that baseball so I could have that money. I didn't know. I really didn't know, Judge. I had court April 11th, and I went to the baseball deal. So I could have
Baseball deal. What baseball deal?
I umpire. I'll be umpiring, and they was short with umpiring. If I knew that I had court, I would have went. But I went and did that for the girls, and to pay on some of my fines, and that's what I did. And honestly, if I knew I had court, Ms. Mark, I would have went. And I used all the money to pay all my fines yesterday, and I don't have $1,000 to make
Right.
bond. I'm really trying, Your Honor. I am, and that's all I got at baseball right now. It helped, really helped me. And
Right. Okay. Well, here's the problem I'm having here. Of course, this is a docket that I don't cover. It's Judge Sylvester, but I'm just looking at it, and there's been times in the past here. It looks like you failed to appear, and then the state requested a bench warrant, and then it was withdrawn later, and so.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was baseball season, clearly.
So there's, in this file alone, there's a history of short history of not appearing. So maybe are you just not you have an attorney. Are you not keeping in contact with him, or do you have a phone? Is there some disconnect between you and your attorney? What's going on? We got to get this resolved.
yeah, it's when I call, for some reason his number it keep popping up on my phone spam. I don't know why.
Okay, and before we get into all that, it's your responsibility to make these court hearings, and so if you have to come down, and you live here in Wellington, as I recall, right?
Yes, I'm not going on with this.
If you have to come up to the courthouse and you can't remember when your court is, you need to come up and check those things, because that's your responsibility. And I don't want to hear, I know I get the spam calls too, but if that's why you and your attorney aren't connecting because his phone pops up as spam on your deal, that's the most important thing for you to probably deal with is coming to court so you don't end up arrested and then you can't make any money.
Yes.
So I don't know how to fix this because if you're not going to appear, I just let you loose, and then you don't appear this Friday either because you forgot or something. I don't know.
Your Honor, I will not miss another court date, Your Honor.
All right.
Will not.
Let me see what you're charged with here. Okay. Oh, okay. Are you where do you live? How many miles from the courthouse do you live?
I stay on 4th Street.
So you could walk. You're an able-bodied guy. You're umpiring and doing that, I know. So you could walk down here if you needed to, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to leave your court date at April, this Friday. Let me make sure that's April 18th. What's today? The 15th, right? Tax day, 16th. Yeah, it is 18th. Your court date's going to be April 18th at 1:30. So somebody at the jail, write that down for him and give him that, April 18th at 1:30.
Somebody check the baseball schedule. Make sure there's not a game.
And I'm going to lower his bond to $1,000 own recognizance bond. What that means, Chico, is that you don't have to put any money up to bond out, but if you fail to appear, you're going to be out $1,000. I mean, you'll owe it anyway. Then they'll have to collect it, but that will. And if you don't show up, I mean, you can't blame it on your phone or anything. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, but you need to be in person in court. No Zoom, no nothing. You need to be here in person. Okay. All right. Let me lower it to $1,000 on recognizance. Are you still umpiring with Mr. Page? Is that who you're umpiring with?
Yes.
Okay. I'll set this over to, like I said, April. I'm writing it down here, April 18th. I'm almost just talking to myself, so I don't forget. April 18th at 1:30. Okay, appear in person, talk with your attorney. You guys need to make some plans for either contesting this or working it out and getting through it. Okay, and you got to write it down. When the judge will tell you, either if you don't resolve it on Friday at 1:30, write it down what your next court date is. So it won't matter if you don't connect up with your attorney on the phone thing. Although you should answer his phone and talk to him so you guys can figure out what you're going to do.
Sure.
All right. So when you get loose here today, what are you going to do Friday?
I'm from the court.
Yeah, at 1:30, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you call your attorney when you're out?
Yeah.
You have his number, right?
Yes, sir.
Call him, and it's Mike Brown, right?
Sir.
Call Mike Brown, tell him you're bonded out, tell him you're going to be there at 1:30. If you need to set up a meeting with him before then, do that. I mean, he may not be available for you, but maybe you want to talk on the phone about how to proceed. Just, you got to engage in these things. They're not going to go away. You live here. They're always going to be able to know where you're at and go arrest you. It's going to be a pain in your butt. And eventually I'll just have to say, you know what? You have to sit in jail till it gets resolved. All right. Nothing further.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good afternoon, Mr. Riley. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me one moment to get your case brought up. Okay, so, Mr. Riley, it looks like you've got a KDOC hold, and the city case looks like they went ahead and gave you an OR bond on it. It looks like what you have pending against you in the city is not having a driver's license. That was alleged to have occurred February 23rd of 2024. in the area of the 1200 block of North 51st Street. There was a warning about a turn signal, but you were not charged with it. You can request a continuance to hire an attorney. You can state that you're not guilty, set the case for a trial. You could speak to the prosecutor about some sort of plea offer. I'm not sure if she'd be willing to offer you a traffic diversion, or you could enter a guilty plea. What would you like to do?
You said I was charged. I mean, I wasn't charged with something.
There was a warning about a turn signal, but they just wrote it as a warning.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only actual charge on this citation is for not having a driver's license.
Mm-hmm. So say what do I have to do again?
So your options are you can request a continuance to hire an attorney to represent you on not having a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
You can state that you are not guilty and set the case for a trial. You have the right to a trial, or you could speak to the prosecutor about a plea offer. I don't know if she'd be willing to offer you a diversion to keep it off your driving record, but she might. Or if you don't want to mess with all of that, you could enter a guilty plea. What would you like to do?
So the guilty plea would mean what?
You'd be stating that you are guilty of not having a driver's license, at least as of February 23rd of 2024 at that date, time, and location. And the fine is $150. The state fee is $23.50. You would owe a total of $173.50.
I'll do that.
Okay. Give me one moment to get some stuff in the computer. We will continue this for payment to, give me a moment to look at date. May 13th at 1 p.m. If you're still in Wyandotte custody, we'll see you on video again. If KDOC has picked you up, you can always send a letter or wait until you get out to deal with it, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
Just checking we're done.
Yes.
All right. Johnson and Brady are next. They're at same floor at the other end of the hall, so I'll be back.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Vallejo, so this 2019-07252, is that under another name or is that closed? On Mr. Johnson, sorry.
I had the same question, ma'am, on Mr. Johnson. I couldn't find any open cases.
Give me 1 second.
So I thought perhaps maybe I had the wrong, I wrote his name down incorrectly or something.
Okay, it's spelled 2 different ways.
Ah.
That explains that. Okay, so he does have one in payment status, and then the other is, the first name is TRA''VON.
There it is. Okay. Yep. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Never mind. That makes it much easier.
Pardon me all, Trayvon Johnson is here.
Good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Johnson, it looks like you previously resolved a case, and it looks like we have maybe a slight differentiation in your spelling, and that's why they didn't resolve all 3 of your cases. So the case that you do have that's in a payment status, since you are still in custody, I am going to close that for what we call a lack of ability to pay. When you're in custody, obviously you're not able to work at your usual employment and you're not generating an income. And so I would consider that you have a lack of ability to pay, okay? Give me 1 second to take some notes about that, and then we will address the other case.
Okay.
Okay, so that leaves you with a switched tag and no proof of insurance allegation. Those were alleged to have occurred August 24th of 2019 in the area of North 5th and Washington Boulevard. You can request a continuance to hire an attorney. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. You could state that you are not guilty and set the case for a trial. You have the right to a trial. Or you could speak to the prosecutor about a plea offer. Ms. Hutton, I show that he has a $250 cash bond that he'd have to post on this. Does the city have any objection to an OR since the other case had already been OR'd?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, so let me get that in there first. So you're not going to be held on this pending case, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so as far as those two charges are concerned, which of those options do you want to take? Trial, continuance, speak to the prosecutor.
Speak to the prosecutor.
Okay, if you'll leave your headphones on, but tell the person that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the breakout room so the two of you can have a conversation, and
Okay.
they'll send the invite in just a minute.
Okay.
Your Honor?
Yes.
So I spoke with Mr. Johnson and he has agreed to plead guilty to the $300 no insurance charge, and the city would drop the switch tag. And that's what I have, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, is that your understanding of the plea? You'd be entering a guilty plea to one count of no proof of insurance. The fine would be $300. The state fee is $23.50. And the tag charge would be dismissed and you would have time to pay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll continue this to a payment date. If you are still in custody at that time, I'm pretty sure what is likely that will happen is I will end up just closing this for lack of ability to pay like we did on this one, okay?
Okay.
If you have been released, you'll need to appear in person on May, give me 1 second, I gotta look at the calendar, sorry. May 6th at 1 p.m. To either make a payment or ask for more time. We'll send paperwork over to the jail. If you're released on your county stuff, they'll put a copy of that will be in your property and you'll have that to take with you showing that you either need to pay or appear by May 6th, okay?
Okay. Am I able to say something?
Yeah.
I have a hold in Jackson County, so I may still be in custody.
So if you're still in Wyandotte County custody, like I said, we'll deal with it by video again, like we did today. If Jackson has come and picked you up, once you get out, get a letter of incarceration from them and bring it to our clerk's office and we can go from there, okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck to you.
Okay.
Judge, if I could interrupt or bring to your attention, Mr. Johnson had one released warrant and then he had one warrant that had a cash bond.
Correct. And we
So-
went ahead and released that one.
Okay.
It looks like there was a minor difference in spelling of his name. One had an
Okay.
apostrophe, one didn't.
Yes.
I
Okay.
think
I
that's why that happened.
it was accurate the way it was, but I did want to bring it up and just
Yeah.
see what we're doing. Okay. Mr. Brady is here, ready to go.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Brady. I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. Obviously, it looks like you can hear me.
Yes.
So give me one moment to bring up your case. Okay, so it looks like you've already been given an OR bond on the city case. You're only being held on the county stuff. It looks like as far as the city case is concerned, Ms. Hutton, do you know why one charge would be resolved but not the other?
I have both charges, or I have two charges, ma'am, a driver's license required and an operating without a
Oh, you
proper.
know what? It's just the status is listed wrong on the one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like you were charged with not having a driver's license and an expired tag. Those allegations were alleged to have occurred during the course of a traffic crash October 2nd of 2024 in the 1700 block of Meadowlark Lane. You can request a continuance to hire an attorney. You can state that you are not guilty and set the case for a trial, or you could speak to the prosecutor to resolve these cases. What would you like to do?
Speak to the prosecutor.
Okay, just leave the headphones on and tell the person that gave you the headphones that you need to go to the virtual breakout room.
Yeah.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I've spoken with Mr. Brady, and the city has offered him, he is willing to plead guilty to the driver's license required charge for $150. The city is going to be dropping the tag infraction, and that's all I have.
So, sir, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here, make sure we all have the same understanding. It's my understanding that the city would be dismissing the tag charge. You'd be pleading guilty to not having a driver's license. The fine would be $150, and the state fee is $23.50. Is that your understanding of the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this for payment. We are going to put this on May 6th at 1 p.m. If for some reason you are still in custody, I will most likely close it for what we call a lack of ability to pay. When you're in jail, obviously you can't go to your regular place of employment and you're unable to generate an income. So we usually just end up closing it for a lack of ability to pay, okay?
Okay.
If for some reason you've been released on your county case, you need to make sure you either appear in person May 6th at 1 or make a payment on or before that date. We'll send paperwork over to the jail. They'll put a copy in your property so that if you do get released, you're aware of what you're reminded of that date, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'm leaving here, just checking you're done with him.
Yes.
Lewis and Wright will be next, different floor, different pod. I'll be back soon.
Okay, thank you.
Pardon me all, Mr. Wright, Jacob Wright is here.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wright.
Good afternoon.
I'm Judge Schultz with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me just bring your case up and we will go from there.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Wright, it looks like you were charged with failing to wear a seatbelt and driving while suspended. Those were alleged to have occurred October 7th of 2022 in the area of 38th and Parallel. It looks like you were booked on this. I'm trying to see if there's anything else holding you. Give me 1 second to look that up. I knew it was going to be you or someone else, and I had a 50-50 shot and I brought up the wrong person. Okay, so it looks like you do have holds from Mission and Miami.
Yeah.
Are you requesting a reduction in bond? It looks like you'd have to post a $250 cash bond at
I
this.
don't have any money at all, ma'am. I was
Okay,
hoping,
so you're requesting an OR bond?
please. I
Okay.
was hoping you might give me an OR bond so then I could maybe go into the next counties, try to settle that.
Okay. All right, let me let Ms. Hutton give me the city's position on that.
Okay.
You're muted, Ms. Hutton.
I do plan on getting this all taken care of as soon as I get back out into the community. I honestly do. I know this is an old case.
Sorry,
Please work.
let's let Ms. Hutton have her say.
Okay.
I don't have an objection to an OR bond, and my apologies for, yes, I was muted and I didn't know.
Okay, so Mr. Wright, I'm going to go ahead and give you an OR bond. And then you have 3 options. You can request a continuance, particularly if you're trying to deal with those other jurisdictions first. You could state that you're not guilty, set the case for a trial, or you could speak to the prosecutor about trying to resolve it. What would you like to do?
Could we set it for a continuance out for quite a while, just as long as you could give me?
Give me 1 moment to get you a date.
And the only reason I'm asking for as long as you can give me is because I'm a little worried about Miami County. I might have to. I know
The
I got.
longest I'd be able to go is June 10th, but I'm happy to
Okay.
put it on that date, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
So we'll continue this to June 10th at 1 p.m. If for
Okay.
some reason you're in one of those other jurisdictions' custodies, when you get out, ask for a letter of incarceration and then bring it to our court clerk's office and they'll work with you on getting a new court date, okay?
Yeah, but they probably won't even let me out. They'll probably send me right back here, huh?
Well, if you have a warrant, they'll probably contact us and it may get resolved that
Oh,
way.
okay. Okay.
But you know, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they say, oh, this is a tiny one. We're just going to release you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Judge, that's going to end our day. Mr. Lewis refused.
Well, okay, we can't do anything about that.
That's correct.
And he's not held on our stuff. He's only held on the county stuff. So we'll just move him to a new week and see if he wants to see us next week.
His comment was, I got more serious stuff to worry about.
I understand that.
Correct. So that'll do it. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Take care all. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Mr. Williams, audio and video, please. Take the hat off. Looks like there's an outstanding bench warrant for Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, you have an outstanding bench warrant out of Ellis County District Court for failure to appear at your last hearing. You're charged in this matter in 2019 TR 263 with speeding 96 mile an hour in a 75 mile an hour zone and driving while your license is canceled, suspended, or revoked. You understand what you're charged with?
Yes. Gee, I can't imagine how his license got canceled, suspended, or revoked.
You have a right to an attorney. You have a right to a trial. Do you have an attorney?
No,
Do you plan on hiring an attorney?
I do not.
Wish me to set this for a court trial?
No.
Wish to visit with the county attorney about a possible resolution to this matter?
Yes.
Okay, got a paper and pencil?
Okay.
Mr. Becker.
Give me a call tomorrow morning. My number is 785.
I'm sorry, I got 785 and then what else? And your name?
Josh.
And what time do you want me to call?
Tomorrow morning between 8 and noon, preferably. You can call me another time, but I can't guarantee it'll be available.
Okay, I'll call tomorrow.
Ms. Williams, you have a court date for April 29th at 11 o'clock. You get this hearing taken care of prior to that time, you will not have another hearing. If not, you will have a hearing. I will tell you one more time, you have an outstanding bench warrant because this is a 2019 case that you have not appeared in court and taken care of. That will not be lifted until Mr. Becker tells me that this case is resolved.
Where exactly are you guys at? Hayes, Kansas, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have to appear like in person or on video? Because I don't know how to get, I don't know how I would get to Hayes, Kansas. I live in Olathe.
You talk to Mr. Becker tomorrow morning and he may save you a trip to Hayes, Kansas.
Okay.
If you don't talk to him tomorrow morning and get this resolved, I'll tell you how you're going to get to Hayes, Kansas. It'll be in the car of one of the deputies from the Ellis County Sheriff's Department. So.
Well, yeah, I'm the one who contacted and got a court date because I didn't even know. So,
okay. Well, yeah. I'm just telling you that's how you'll get a ride to Hayes.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hedrick, there you are.
Hey, I'm sorry about that. How are you doing?
You're here on 25 TR 433 today. You're charged In count one, with improper driving on a lane roadway. It looks like count two was dismissed because you provided proof of registration. You understand what you're charged with?
Yes, Your Honor. And I did want to just let you know on that registration, the only reason I had the other tags on, my license plate got stolen, so I had to call the police department in Joplin and do a bunch of paperwork. And I was going to go through some tolls, and I figured with no license plate would be way worse than putting an old one on. So I put the old one on just to go through the tolls in Denver, just so, you know, they could still get me the bill and there wouldn't be any problems with that.
Okay. You have a right to a court trial on count one. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to have a court trial?
No, I don't. The only thing I do ask, you know, I'm not trying to get out of this or anything,
Well, here,
but
before you incriminate yourself.
oh, I'm not talking about the crime at all. It's just, I know there's people listening, and I'm not doing any of that.
You already did that.
Unfortunately, I have been contracted through the national park, and 2 weeks ago, I lost my contract due to budget cuts. So the only thing I ask is if maybe we could do a payment plan until next month. I just started a new job. I'm not a bum. I have been employed the last 4 years consistently. I'm going through a rough patch. I have $19 on my account. If we could do a payment plan, it would really help me out. And
Well,
that's all I ask.
Okay, let's do this, Mr. Hedrick. I'll try to, do you have paper and pencil with you?
I don't, but I can sketch it down on my phone.
Okay. Mr. Becker's the county attorney. He's going to give you a number to call, and I think he can assist you tomorrow, okay?
Okay, for sure. I'm sorry.
No problem, not a problem.
All right. Give me a call tomorrow morning. My name is Josh. My number is 785.
I'm sorry. Give me just one moment. I need to find a place to sketch that down. Josh, and what was your phone number?
785.
Awesome. And what time would you like me to call you tomorrow?
Between 8 and noon, preferably.
8 and noon, perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your guys' help today.
Now, I set another court date for April 29th at 11, but I'm pretty certain you're going to get this resolved, and if you do, you won't have another court date.
Yes, sir. I'm going to get this paid for. I'm not trying to, you know, be a hassle in your guys' ear or anything like that. I'm just going through a time right now, and it's been a little difficult, and I do apologize.
I understand that, and you're not.
Did you mean the 27th, Judge?
What's that?
Did you mean the 27th?
Well, April 27th?
Yeah. Oh, April.
27th, so Sunday.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was
it's
looking
April
at the
29th.
wrong month.
Yeah. Okay. You're excused, sir. Thank you.
All right, this is a citation. It was issued on March 25th of this year on 56th Street there in the city of Fenville. It says failure to stop for a school bus. Ms. McGregor, you're here on this citation to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or two, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation to the court as to why or how this happened. Or three, you wish to contest this citation, in other words, to fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
Number two.
All right. And what is it you'd like to tell me?
That when I'm taking my granddaughter to school, there are two separate times where I meet a bus pulled over to the side with yellow lights, and I pass with caution. When I came upon this bus, it was over to the side, the yellow lights were on, proceeded to pass the bus, and as I was passing the bus, he put the stop sign out.
Okay.
So I just
I'll let you
continued
know this,
passing.
even on yellow, you're not supposed to go past the bus.
You're not supposed to go past the bus when it's yellow?
No, ma'am, it's the same as a traffic light. You can't enter the intersection on red. You can't enter the intersection on yellow either. It doesn't mean, hey, get ready, you're about to not be able to do something. it's telling you, no, you're not allowed to do the thing already. And then red is that you're really not allowed to do the thing already. If you drive into an intersection on a yellow, you will also get a run the light ticket.
Correct, correct. But that means in the two other occasions that I run into this a bus that's pulled off to the side, I can't pass those either.
Well, lots of times the bus driver will wave you around because what they're doing is saying, hey, rather than you have to follow me while I make stops all the way to school, I'll pull off to the side and let the traffic go. They do that a lot too. But if they are stopped and they have their yellows on, you're not allowed to pass it, same as if they have their reds.
I guess I'm confused.
Okay,
Because
well then let me just tell you, you cannot pass a school bus once it turns on its yellows.
Okay.
All right, but you're all set for what we need to do here today. You just need to make arrangements to pay that fines and costs. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, goodness. That was so much fun, you guys. I'm debating. Should I do the crumb docket now, or should I save it for tonight? And it would guarantee my appearance tonight. Plus I could put more together. I'm thinking we'll hold off. We'll wait. It's a good docket. Plus I didn't really edit it. I just cut out the time gaps. So it'll give me a chance to formally edit it. It's almost been 2 hours already. My goodness. Time flies when you're having fun. Oh, and by the way, I understand that I have some new viewers. So I would just like to send a big shout out and much love to the boys at Multistack. Yeah, I said it. Yeah. Jacob, your kid is cute. Beautiful little child there. And thanks for hunting me down. Yeah. Not creepy at all. No. Oh yeah, we ran the whole gamut. But I did slip some Michigan in there. I had to get some Michigan in at the end. I know, you're really behind. What? You put on pause and took a break? My goodness. And you'll see this in like 5 minutes, apparently, because that's how far behind you are. Oh, Charlie. I was just closing it up until tonight. I have crumb ready, but it's not edited all the way. And so though I know there's a lot of fun with it, I didn't watch it all the way through, and I didn't do the usual like cuts for numbers and things like that. I don't think they give those on the Judge Crumb dockets. She's very sweet. Yeah. Her voice is very shrill though. Oh, you're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart. All right. Okay. maybe I can do crumb now. And I've got stuff like planned for tonight. So I'll still be able to get it edited in time. I know I can do it. I can do it. All right. Let me just get crumb. There we go.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Morning or afternoon. Yeah,
We've made it to the afternoon.
that's right.
All right, this is the first appearance docket for Butler County, Kansas, April 16th, 2025. First case on the docket, Cheyenne Coley. Is that you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
All right, we'll go on the record in State of Kansas versus Cheyenne Renee Coley, case number 25 CR 180. The state appears by County Attorney Darren DeVinny. Ms. Coley appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. You're here for a first appearance. Have you received a copy of your charges?
No, sir, I have not.
All right, I'll go over those with you at this time. There are actually six charges, all alleged to have occurred on April 14th, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas. Count one, you're charged with unlawful possession of methamphetamine. That is a level 5 drug felony. Count two, you're charged with unlawful possession of fentanyl. That is a level 5 drug felony. Count three, you're charged with possession of paraphernalia for use. The paraphernalia items being a syringe, tinfoil, Ziploc bag, and a metal pipe. That is a Class B non-person misdemeanor. Count four alleges you were driving while your license was suspended or canceled. Second offense, that's a Class A non-person misdemeanor. Count five alleges you were operating a motor vehicle without proof of insurance. That's a Class B misdemeanor. And count six alleges you're operating a motor vehicle with expired tag or registration. That is an unclassified misdemeanor. Do you understand your charges?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, since there are felonies involved, you won't be asked to enter a plea today. Can you afford to hire an attorney?
No, sir, I can't. I'm actually supposed to be going to treatment today. I have a bed in Sedan at Kiss Second Life Recovery. I was supposed to be there at 1 o'clock. I don't know. I know I still have some time. I've talked to her on the phone. Charity Clausen she's the lady who runs it.
Okay.
I was hoping.
We'll get to your bond here in a minute, but can you afford to hire an attorney?
No, sir, I can't.
Do you want to apply for a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you currently employed?
No, sir. I've had plans to go to treatment, so.
Okay, how long has it been since you worked?
Maybe not that long, maybe like a month or two. I was doing a lot of Angie's List working with them. I know a guy. There's a man named Nicholas Mueller. He does a lot of Angie's List, and we have a crew that we were doing a decent amount, I would say, of Angie's List work. So
what is Angie's List?
it's like a website where people go and post things that they need done, like different, like any kind of, like there's different levels of tasks. They could be like roofing, siding, or something as remedial as putting a chair together. It just varies.
All right. Well, I'll appoint James Watts to represent you. He's an attorney here in town. Your next hearing will be in front of Judge Satterfield on her preliminary hearing control docket, and that'll be on June 23rd at 2:30, and that'll be by Zoom, June 23rd at 2:30. Mr. DeVinny, what's the state's recommendation for bond?
Your Honor, state's requesting a $7,500 cash surety bond, and that's based upon obviously the number of charges here, but we also have admissions that were made after Mirandized by the defendant, but it's really the criminal history at this point, record of convictions. She's going to be a third strike, put up to prison based upon convictions out of Reno County and Sedgwick County. They date back to 2013. We have making a false writing. We have felony theft, possession of opiates, criminal possession of a weapon back in 2021, as well as several other level 5 drug felonies. Looks like 3 other ones. So with her criminal history, it doesn't look as though she would be in a presumptive probation situation upon conviction. So I think a reasonable bond at this point would be appropriate, and I don't think $7,500 is overreaching.
Don't be getting indignant about it, little missy. Y'all see that little, this is so stupid and head shaking she did? No, he's just reading the facts.
All right, Miss Coley, where do you live? What town?
I live in Wichita, Wichita and Hayesville. My uncle and them live in Hayesville. That's where I stay. I just take care of them. My uncle, my grandpa, he just got moved to a nursing home, so really it's just my uncle that I take care of there now.
Okay. I'm going to set bond at 7,500 cash or surety. As a condition of bond, you're not to possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Deviney, anything else we need to do on the Coley case?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
All right, do you have any questions?
I would mind some clarification. Most of those charges that he listed off were from before my release in 2020, 2023 or 2024, I believe, correct? I believe all of those are.
It was just establishing what your criminal history is, and
Yeah, I think almost all of those, if not all of every last one of those, was before I was released from prison from doing time for those cases. I want to make that clear.
very well. All right, Ms. Coley, you are excused. Thank you.
That's what a history is.
Peter? Do we know if counsel is available for any of us?
Are you Juan Teeter?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go on the record in State of Kansas versus Lon Christopher Teeter, case number 25 CR 178. State appears by County Attorney Darren Deviney. Mr. Teeter appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. You're here for a first appearance. Do you have a copy of your charges, Mr. Teeter?
Yeah.
All right, there are two charges, both alleged to have occurred on April 15th, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas. Count one alleges that you did knowingly in a rude, insulting, or angry manner impede the normal breathing or circulation of the blood by applying pressure on the throat, neck, or chest of Star Ocelot, with whom you're in a dating relationship or as a family or household member. That's aggravated domestic battery, and that is a level 7 person felony. Count two alleges criminal damage to property, a class B non-person misdemeanor. You're alleged to have damaged a pair of headphones in which Star Ocelot has an interest in, and that carries a domestic violence tag. Do you understand your charges?
I do understand them. Is there any type of counsel available for me?
Can you afford to hire an attorney?
I cannot.
Okay, do you wish to apply for a court-appointed attorney then?
Yes, please.
Okay, are you employed?
I am. I'm a school bus driver for the city of Andover. Andover Public Schools.
How long have you done that?
I started at the beginning of this school year.
Okay, do you get paid by the hour or?
Yeah, it's hourly pay, roughly about 25 hours a week.
Okay, do you have any other source of income?
I do not.
All right, I'll appoint James Watts to represent you. He's an attorney here in town. Depending on what happens with your case, you may be ordered to pay back some or all of his fees. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. All right, your case has been assigned to me. Your next hearing will be on my preliminary hearing control docket, and that will be on May 19th at 2:30 p.m.
Okay. May I ask a question?
Sure.
Am I basically stuck here until then?
We're going to discuss bond here in a minute.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm asking the questions ahead of time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a little bit. May 19th at 2:30, that'll be by Zoom in front of myself. Mr. Deviney, what's the state's recommendation for bond?
Your Honor, I'd ask for a $5,000 cash or surety bond, no contact with the victim. As a result of that, he doesn't have any significant criminal history. It's just this appears to be this singular incident. It's kind of a bad situation, but it is a felony charge. And certainly, like I said, I'd like to reinforce the no contact provisions.
All right, Mr. Teeter, what town do you live in?
Andover.
All right, I'm going to set bond at $5,000 cash or surety as a condition of bond. You're to have no contact with Star Ocelot. Also, as a condition of bond, you're not to possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs.
Okay, I understand that.
All right, Mr. Devaney, is there anything else we need to address on the Teeter case?
No, Your Honor.
All right, do you have any questions, Mr. Teeter?
Yeah, how would I go about contacting a bondsman while I'm in this position?
Someone at the jail should assist you. They have a number of business cards or so forth for bondsmen in the area.
Okay. And then I would probably also need to have contact with my parents because I'm going to need their help financially for that bond.
Okay, the jail should be able to assist you with that.
Okay.
Again, you're to have absolutely no contact with Star Ocelot, though. No phone calls, no social media messages, anything.
This guy's at somewhat of a disadvantage. He looks scary. He really does. Like, he's got that gruff look about him. So it's not far-fetched when you look at him to think that he acted in a rude, violent, or insolent manner. However, when he speaks, he is very polite, and he doesn't sound the same way he looks. I mean, this is why innocent until proven guilty. I mean, we don't know the facts of the case. And there's been a lot of cases coming out recently where, people have made false allegations against their partners or against other people, and it's coming out, and now the people making the false allegations are being charged for that. And in the meantime, the people who the allegations are made of sits in jail. So, I mean, it's a tough one. He seems like a nice enough guy, but he goes to trial on this, and sight unseen, he looks gruff. And I think that will play to a disadvantage for him.
Understand.
All right, we'll be in recess. You are excused. Thank you. Are you Travis Graham?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go on the record in State of Kansas versus Travis Michael Graham, case number 25 CR 181. The state appears by Darren Devaney. Mr. Graham appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. You're here for a first appearance. Have you received your charges yet?
No.
All right, there are 5 counts, all alleged to have occurred on April 14th, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas. Count 1 alleges that you unlawfully and knowingly placed Rochelle Shepard in reasonable apprehension of immediate bodily harm with a deadly weapon. The weapon being a screwdriver. That's aggravated assault, and that's a level 7 person felony. Count 2 alleges that you unlawfully and knowingly took a bag, a gun, and a vehicle from Rochelle Shepard by force of threat or bodily harm. That is aggravated robbery. That is a level 3 person felony. Count 3 alleges criminal possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. That is a level 8 non-person felony. Count 4 alleges domestic battery, class B, person misdemeanor, alleged victim, Rochelle Shepard. Count 5 alleges you were driving while your license was suspended or canceled. That is a class B non-person misdemeanor. Do you understand your charges, Mr. Graham?
I understand this.
All right. There are felonies involved. You won't be entering a plea today. Your case has been assigned to Judge Hart. Your next hearing date is on his felony preliminary hearing control docket on June the 9th at 2:30 p.m. That'll be by Zoom, June 9th at 2:30. Can you afford to hire an attorney, Mr. Graham?
No, sir, I'm indigent.
Okay, so you're not working?
No, not current.
How long has it been since you worked?
Probably 2 months almost as far as a regular job. I work for myself.
I'll appoint James Watts to represent you. He's an attorney here in town. You may be ordered to pay back some or all of his fees. Do you understand that?
Sure.
All right, Mr. Devaney, what's your recommendation for bond?
Your Honor, the state's requesting a $20,000 cash or surety bond. The evidence against the accused includes admissions that he said he told law enforcement what the victim said was correct. He had an apology note, and the screwdriver that was in question with some of the charges was actually found on the defendant's person. He does have criminal history as well. Record convictions include criminal threat, rape, traffic crimes, felony theft, ID theft, interference with law enforcement, making of false information, these types of matters. So the state's requesting not only that bond, but also no contact with the victim in this case, no alcohol or drugs.
All right, I'll set bond at $20,000 cash or surety. Mr. Graham, as a condition of bond, you're not to possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs, nor are you to have any contact with Rochella Shepherd.
So what is a cash surety bond, sir?
You can put up $20,000 in cash, or you can hire a bondsman. They'll usually take a percentage of that in order to get you out.
About 2,000, thanks, sir.
So, Mr. Devaney, anything further on the Graham case?
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Graham?
Only thing that I would say is there was a screwdriver taken from a bag on my.
Mr. Graham, I'd advise you not to make any statements today.
I'm just saying he didn't take a screwdriver that was involved in this case.
Okay, you can discuss those issues with your attorney.
We got about 20 screwdrivers.
All right, we'll be in recess. You are excused. Thank you.
That's 20 weapons to him.
Screwdrivers. Yeah, I can say it.
Mays?
Jonathan Mays.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll go on the record. There are two cases, both entitled State of Kansas versus Jonathan Lee Mays, 25 CR 179 and 25 TR 187. Let's first address 25 TR 187. According to the docket notes, there is a first appearance scheduled in front of Judge Webster on April the 9th, and you failed to appear. Bench warrant bond forfeiture was issued, $2,000 cash or surety bond ordered. So you haven't had a first appearance on this case yet.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, there's two counts in this case. Count one alleges on January 12th, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas, that you were operating a motor vehicle with expired tag or registration. That's an unclassified misdemeanor, carries a maximum penalty of 30 days in jail and up to a $500 fine. Count two, same date and location, alleges you're operating a motor vehicle without proper proof of insurance. That is a Class B non-person misdemeanor. Maximum penalty 6 months in jail, up to a $1,000 fine. Are you going to want to talk to an attorney about all of these matters, Mr. Mays?
Yeah, I am. I'm probably gonna need court help with that though.
Okay. All right, I'm going to appoint Darren Patterson to represent you. He's an attorney here in town. You may have to pay back some or all of his fees. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'll show that a not guilty plea has been entered so you can consult with your attorney. This case, you're going to have, actually, these will both be in front of Judge Webster.
Okay.
Your next hearing, and this will be for both cases, will be June 30th at 8 o'clock in the morning by Zoom with Judge Webster.
Will I reach out to Darren and find out the Zoom link or whatever, or how's that work?
Yes, you can do that, or you can appear at the Judicial Center and they've got a computer set up.
Okay.
All right. Judge Webster's already set a bond in that case of $2,000 cash or surety. All right, then the next case, 25 CR 176. There's two counts, both alleged to have occurred on April 15th, 2025, Butler County, Kansas.
Your Honor, I've got a question for you about the case number. I've got it in one system as 25 CR 180. I've got it on a jail sheet as 179, and then you just said 176.
Okay, well, if I said 176, I'm not sure what I was looking at.
Okay. But is the actual case file number 25 CR 180?
No, the court
Or what's it?
file has it as 25 CR 179.
179. Okay, very well.
All right, the first count, in this case, Mr. Mays, is possession of marijuana after a prior conviction. According to the information, you've got either a prior conviction at a Morris County District Court. That's a Class A misdemeanor, maximum penalty a year in jail, up to a $2,500 fine. Count 2, possession of paraphernalia for use, plastic bag, grinder, rolling papers. That's a Class B misdemeanor, maximum penalty 6 months in jail, $1,000 fine. Do you understand your charges in that case?
Yeah.
All right, I'll show a not guilty plea in this case as well. Darren Patterson will be appointed to represent you on this case also. What's the state's recommendation for bond on this case, Mr. Devaney?
Your Honor, let's see here. Request a $1,500 cash or surety bond. Again, not a significant criminal history. There's DUI, cruelty to animals, criminal possession of a firearm, theft a couple of times, and interference with law enforcement. So I think just to assure appearance here on this case separately, $1,500 cash or surety.
All right. Mr. Mays, anything you'd like to say regarding bond?
No, I think that's fair.
All right, $1,500 cash or surety will be the bond. As a condition of bond, you're not to possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs. If you do make bond, I'd suggest calling Mr. Patterson's office, so they'll know how to get a hold of you.
Okay. How soon will they know, as far as that they've been appointed, I should say?
I don't know. An order appointing counsel will be circulated.
Okay.
I don't know if they have somebody who watches these first appearances to know who's been appointed, but if you do make bond, call them, let them know you're out and where they can find you.
Okay. So I do have one question. It would be a total of $3,500,
That's correct.
and that's cash or surety.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Devaney, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Mays, you are excused. Thank you. Are you Cody Nelson?
Yes, I am, Crum. How are you?
Judge Crum.
Judge Crum, my bad. Back in the day, it was just my bad. All right, yep.
All right, we'll go on the record in State of Kansas versus Cody Arthur Nelson, case number 25 TR 783. The state appears by Darren Devaney. Mr. Nelson appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. Looks like there is just one count, Mr. Nelson, alleging on January 20th, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas, you operated a motor vehicle without proof of insurance. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor.
Yeah, I talked to y'all's DA. My insurance lapsed by 3 days. I got insurance about 9 hours after the traffic stop. I talked to one of your traffic DAs, emailed everything over. He told me, don't even worry about it. That's what he told me on the phone.
Okay,
Whenever he received all the information from auto acceptance. I mean, I didn't have insurance at the exact time, but like he told me not to worry about it. They're going to dismiss it if I got it right after the thing. That's what the DA told me from Butler County. I talked to him on the phone.
Okay, well, Mr. Devaney, do you have any notes?
I don't see any notes to that effect, but I'd have to visit with Mr. Regier. That would be the attorney that would be most likely handling that conversation, but we're going to need, obviously.
Can you guys just look up I didn't mean to interrupt, man. My bad.
I really don't see Jay Regier as the type of person who would say, don't even worry about it, man. You're cool. You're cool. We're good, bro. Yeah, that's not a Regier thing to say.
Mr. Nelson, just let Mr. Devaney finish.
Yeah,
please.
I will.
obviously I need proof of the insurance, copy of that or something like that dropped off at the office so we can review that. And if that's the case, then we could take additional steps at that point and maybe avoid going through court.
Yeah,
Mr. Nelson, do you wish to enter a not guilty plea so you can see if you can get something worked out on this charge?
Yeah, I plead not guilty, but can you just look up my email address and see that I sent it to you guys already? I talked to someone, he told me not to even worry about it. That's what dude told me when I called on the phone. So here I am not worrying about it, listening to one of your DAs, and then here I am in front of you, messing with my yard time. I sent you guys on pmanning1989@icloud.com. I sent you guys everything you needed, everything I was told to send by the DA, my proof of insurance after I got it and everything.
All right, well, I'm gonna show.
Your Honor, if you can give me just a few moments, I've got a
Okay.
copy of the email now. I'm trying to look through it here. Looks to me like the ticket was issued and it was the next day, the next morning around 9 o'clock or so, he got insurance. So I'll move to dismiss.
Sorry for the misunderstanding, guys.
State's dismissed your charge, Mr. Nelson. If you don't have any other holds, you'll be able to be released today.
I'll be here. All right.
Very well. Go back to the yard. Good afternoon, Miss Ellison.
Hello, sir.
All right, well, there are two cases set at this time, both entitled State of Kansas versus Cassandra Diane Ellison, 24 CR 154 and 23 TR 1061. The state appears by Darren Devaney. Miss Ellison appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. Excuse me. Let's take up 24 CR 154 first. If this is a warrant to show cause, seems like you were just in court for a warrant to show cause.
Yes, sir. In February.
Okay, well, this is a new one, Miss Ellison. All right, there's 5 allegations. I'll go over these with you. March 6th, it alleges you were arrested in Greenwood County and on some charges and failed to notify your ISO of the law enforcement contact.
I couldn't contact her because I was in custody.
All right, Miss Ellison, this isn't the hearing on the violations, so I don't want you to say anything that might incriminate you. March 6th, you were arrested again. Traffic and drug charges out of Greenwood County. Failed to notify your ISO of the law enforcement contact. March 6th, you were in Greenwood County, didn't have permission to leave Butler County. Number 4, alleges you possessed hallucinogenic and drug paraphernalia for a Greenwood County case. Number 5, alleges you had social contact with Simon Garza. So those are the alleged violations. I'm going to reappoint Chris Pate to represent you on this round.
Oh my gosh! This is one of the co-defendants with that other gal that we just saw earlier on Jan Satterfield's docket. With where she was charged with the felony for hiding Simon Garza. And now this gal here is also intertwined with this. Ooh, I wonder if we get to meet Mr. Garza himself.
You may have to pay back some of his fees. Your bond, or actually there's an addendum also. It says on April 11th, you pled no contest to obstruction, apprehension, and unlawful possession of controlled substance in Greenwood County.
Yes, sir.
All right, I've set a bond already for $2,500 cash or surety on this. Your court date with me will be May 23rd at 2:30, and that'll be in person, May 23rd at
There's no way that I can get my bond lowered or anything, so I can, I'm working with Christy to get into inpatient treatment.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna lower the bond at this point, Miss Ellison. If Mr. Pate, if you want to get with him and present something to me at a later date that would convince me that a modification of that bond is appropriate, I'd consider it at that point. You've got another bond we'll discuss here in 23 TR 1061. This is Judge Webster's case. This is also a warrant to show cause. It's the same allegations in this case as we just went over in the other case, Miss Ellison. Judge Webster set a bond for you at 5,000 cash or surety. I'm going to put you on the expedited misdemeanor control docket for that case, which will be May 2nd at 1:30 p.m. Or wait, give me just a second. All right, I guess I've been handling the warrant to show cause on both of these.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna scratch that. Both of them will be heard on May 23rd at 2:30. Chris Pate will represent you. It looks like Darren Patterson maybe have been on it last time. I think I'm just gonna have Chris Pate appointed on both. I think that makes a little more sense. I'll modify the bond in that one to 2,500 cash or surety, so your total bond would be 5,000 cash or surety.
Okay.
But Mr. Devaney, anything from the state regarding these two cases?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Ellison, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, we'll be in recess. Thank you. Good afternoon. Are you Crystal Sullivan?
Yes.
All right, we're on the record in state of Kansas versus Crystal Rose Sullivan. Case number 24 TR 1528. The state appears by County Attorney Darren Devaney. Ms. Sullivan appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. Looks like you are picked up on an arrest warrant. You need to have a first appearance on these charges. Do you have a copy of your charges, Ms. Sullivan?
No, I don't think so.
All right, these are an older case. All of these charges, there's 4 of them, were alleged to have occurred on November 7th, 2023 in Butler County, Kansas. Count 1 is an allegation of driving under the influence, a Class B non-person misdemeanor. It's alleged you're operating a vehicle with a BAC of 0.13. That's obviously over the legal limit of 0.08. Count 2, transporting an open container, an unclassified non-person misdemeanor. Count 3, no proof of insurance, Class B non-person misdemeanor. Count 4, driving on left half of roadway. That is a traffic infraction. Do you understand what you've been charged with, Ms. Sullivan?
Not totally.
Okay, what don't you understand?
What is the infraction you're talking about? What's that mean?
The charging document says you did then and there unlawfully operate a motor vehicle upon the left half of the roadway when not otherwise authorized by law in violation of KSA 8-1514.
Okay.
A traffic infraction is like a speeding ticket. If you're convicted, there'll be a statutory fine you would have to pay.
Okay.
So the Class B misdemeanors carry a maximum penalty of 6 months in jail and up to a $1,000 fine. The unclassified misdemeanor carries a maximum penalty of 30 days in jail and up to a $500 fine. So those are your charges and the possible penalties. Are you going to want to visit with an attorney about these charges, Ms. Sullivan?
Sure, I guess.
Okay, that's up to you. It might be wise to do so, but that's entirely up to you.
Okay.
Okay, can you afford to hire your own attorney?
No.
Okay, so do you want to apply for court-appointed attorney?
Yes, please.
All right, are you employed?
Huh?
Are you employed?
No, not at the moment, no.
When
I
did you
help
last?
take care of my disabled sister. That's about it.
Okay, do you have any source of income?
No, just her disability check.
Okay, I'll appoint Darren Patterson to represent you. He's an attorney here in El Dorado.
Okay.
I'm gonna set your case. I'll show that a not guilty plea has been entered. Your next hearing date will be in front of Judge Webster. And that'll be on June the 30th at 8 o'clock in the morning. Judge Webster is the judge on your case. She's already set a bond of $2,500 cash or surety. As a condition of bond, you're not to possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs.
Okay.
Mr. Deviney, is there anything else we need to address here today?
No, Your Honor.
All right, do you have any questions, Ms. Sullivan?
No, not at the moment, no.
All right, we'll be in recess. You are excused. Thank you.
Thank you. This is my court name.
Are you, is it Zakia?
Zakiah Ivy.
We'll go on the record in state of Kansas versus Zakiah Ivy, case number 24 TR 1880. The state appears by Darren Deviney. Miss Ivy appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. Miss Ivy, it looks like you failed to appear in front of Judge Webster back on January 22nd of this year. Why weren't you in court that day?
I remember our first call was on Zoom because I had moved to Florida. And then I remember her telling me I thought I had a diversion. And then I kind of thought everything was over. So then I just moved back 2 weeks ago to take care of my mom because she got sick. And then I happened to be in the passenger side of someone speeding. But I was, once I came back, because I came back during the weekend, I did plan on coming Monday to talk to Butler County.
Did you submit a diversion application? Did you apply for diversion?
I think I did, but I needed to talk to someone because I thought I already had a diversion a couple years back. So I didn't know if I could have another one. Yeah. And that's why I was coming to Butler County on Monday, but then I ended up getting arrested for being in the passenger because I had a warrant.
Mr. Deviney, do you show that she's applied for diversion?
No, we don't have nothing like that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, how do you want to proceed on your case? Judge Webster issued a bench warrant with a no bond hold, Miss Ivy.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Judge Webster issued a bench warrant and forfeited your bond, and the new bond is no bond, meaning a no bond hold. She wants you held until you go in front of her. So that's the situation you find yourself in. Is this something, Mr. Deviney, she could possibly be eligible for diversion, or is that something you don't know?
Really not after a failure to appear like this, if there's been those types of considerations. However, I know it's strange for we don't normally amend other judges' bonds or anything like that, but a no bond hold seems to be a bit excessive given the level of the charge that we're dealing with.
I'll come to the next court date. Like okay. That, I live in Kansas now.
All right, Miss Ivy, what do you want to do about these charges? You can.
I'll bond out. I will go to court. I do start classes to get my driver's license. I'm willing to pay anything, honestly.
Yeah, well, let's establish this first, Miss Ivy. Are you wanting to try to work something out on these charges with the county attorney's office? Do you want to visit with an attorney about your options?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you afford to hire an attorney?
Not at the moment. I just moved back and I'm taking care of my mom.
Where are you living? What town?
Wichita, Kansas.
Okay. Do you wish to apply for a court-appointed attorney?
I can, yes, sir.
Okay. And Do you have any money saved up to pay for an attorney?
I mean, I can ask my mom and my dad, like, cause I have to be out, so I know they'll do anything to keep me out.
Well, I'll appoint Darren Patterson to represent you. At this stage, you may be ordered to pay back some or all of his fees. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna show that a not guilty plea has been entered. Mr. Devaney, what would the state recommend as an appropriate bond in this situation?
Your Honor, I think just a $1,500 cash surety bond would be appropriate.
Okay, she had OR'd last time.
Right.
All right, Miss Ivy, I'll set a bond at $1,500 cash or surety.
Mhm.
That means you can put up $1,500 in cash, or you can pay a bondsman to help get you out. Your next court date will be in front of Judge Webster on June 30th at 8 o'clock in the morning by Zoom. If you do make bond, you should call Darren Patterson's office and let them know where you're going to be so they'll know how to get a hold of you.
This, right? This is him.
I don't know what they've given you. They usually have his information to provide
Thank you.
the defendants. All right, Mr. Devaney, anything else on this case?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
All right, do you have any questions, Miss Ivy?
No, thank you so much.
All right, we'll be in recess.
Thank you.
Are you Caden Haig?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go on the record in State of Kansas versus Caden Haig, case number 24 TR 1365. The state appears by Darren Devaney. Mr. Haig appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. All right, Mr. Haig, it looks like you failed to appear in front of Judge Webster back on October 28th of 2024.
Yes, sir.
Okay, obviously you've been picked up now. A bench warrant. Bond forfeiture was issued. New bond's been set at $2,000 cash or surety. Darren Patterson's already been appointed. I'm going to set this case back in front of Judge Webster. Are you going to be able to make that bond, Mr. Haig?
No, sir. So I missed court because my best friend passed away and I kind of lost track of when the court date was. I have tried to get a hold of Darren Patterson and no calls have been returned. And then I had a bounty hunter call me and say, hey, we have a warrant for you. So I'm unable to make these bonds. I have someone that can make the bond of another county I have a hold on, but I don't have the 650 total. So I'd like to request an OR out of this county and bond out of the other county if possible. And I have a job the moment I step out so I can have income.
Well, an OR bond's not appropriate for somebody who's already failed to appear once. $2,000 cash or surety is very reasonable.
I don't have income until I step out.
Okay, well, what I'll do, I'll put your case on the expedited misdemeanor control docket, May 2nd at 1:30 in front of Judge Lee.
Any chance for a bond reduction?
I'm not going to modify the bond in this case. I think that's a reasonable bond on a failure to appear.
For someone with no income, it's not. I have no income. I sold my truck to pay rent last month. I have no
That's
income.
why it's important to show up at court when you're ordered to do so, Mr. Haig. If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess.
What about the second case? Isn't there two of them?
I just have one case.
I should meet with two $2,000 bonds.
This is the only case that's on today's docket.
Guy out here.
Are you Jessica Duncan?
Yes.
All right, we'll go on the record in State of Kansas versus Jessica Renee Duncan. Case number 22 CR 433. The state appears by Darren Devaney. Ms. Duncan appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. All right, Ms. Duncan, it looks like you had a first appearance on a warrant to show cause back on January the 10th. and you were ordered to appear in front of Judge Satterfield on her warrant to show cause docket on February 7th, and you failed to appear.
Correct. I was in Reno County. That's where I just came from.
Okay, well, Judge Satterfield issued a bench warrant bond forfeiture
Yep.
and set a no bond hold on you.
Yep.
So James Watts has already been appointed to represent you.
Mm-hmm.
So this just needs to be put back on Judge Satterfield's next warrant to show cause docket, which will be June 27th at 2:30. And I think she does those in person, June 27th at 2:30.
And it's still in no bond, right?
Correct. You'd need to get with your attorney and motion Judge Satterfield to get any sort of a modification on that.
Okay.
So, Mr. Devaney, is there anything else we need to do on this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any questions, Ms. Duncan?
This time that I'm sitting here now will count for the sanction for the probation violation, right?
You should be getting jail credit for, I'm assuming this case, but ultimately that'll be up to Judge Satterfield to determine.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, have a good day. Are you Isaac Darby?
Yes, I am.
All right, we'll go on the record in State of Kansas versus Isaac Knight Darby, case number 24 TR 2947. The state appears by Darren Devaney. Mr. Darby appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. Trying to figure out. It looks like there's never been a first appearance, and perhaps he's been picked up on a arrest warrant. Is that correct, Mr. Devaney?
Yes, Your Honor. We tried to summons and were unsuccessful, and so I think he was picked up.
All right, Mr.
If I may, the reason for my failure to appear is because I was actually in jail at the time.
Okay, well, I'm going to go over your charges with you in just a second. All right, there are 3 counts, all alleged to have occurred August 17th, 2024 in Butler County, Kansas. Count 1, no proof of insurance. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor. Maximum penalty, 6 months in jail and up to a $1,000 fine. There is a minimum fine of $300. Count 2, expired tag or registration. That's an unclassified non-person misdemeanor, maximum penalty 30 days in jail, up to a $500 fine. Count 3, it's alleged you were speeding 90 in a 65 mile per hour zone. That is a traffic infraction and carries a statutory fine. How do you wish to proceed on these charges, Mr. Darby?
First off, it's not my vehicle, so I can't get registrations or insurance on it. And secondly, I was originally doing the speed limit.
Okay, you wish to enter a not guilty plea and consult with an attorney about your options?
I would check not guilty, please.
Okay, I'll
Is
show
it
that not.
possible that I could OR out and
Well, we'll just have some patience, Mr. Darby. I'm showing that a not guilty plea has been entered. Can you afford to hire an attorney to represent you?
no, I cannot.
Do you wish to apply for a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, please.
Okay, are you employed?
I'm not employed at the moment.
How long has it been since you worked?
Close to 8 months.
Okay, do you have any source of income?
I have no source of income and my family cannot provide any funds for me.
I'll appoint Darren Patterson to represent you. You may be ordered to pay back some or all of his fees depending on what happens on your case. Do you understand that?
I understand.
All right, Mr. Devaney, what's the state's recommendation for bond?
Your Honor, I think I have in notes here that there's already a $1,500 cash or surety bond been ordered.
Oh, that is correct.
Okay.
All right, a bond's already been set at $1,500 cash or surety, Mr. Darby.
There's no way we can get this dropped or reduced.
Not as we sit here today. What town do you live in, Mr. Darby?
I'm from Wichita.
Okay, and you're not working? You think you'll be able to make this $1,500 cash or surety bond? That's a no?
No.
All right, I'll set your case on the expedited misdemeanor control docket in front of Judge Lee on May 2nd at 1:30. All right, Mr. Devaney, anything further?
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
All right, do you have any questions, Mr. Darby?
What does this mean?
You have court May 2nd at 1:30 in front of Judge Lee, and that'll be by Zoom. You've had an attorney that's been appointed to represent you.
Does that mean I'm staying in here until then?
If you're unable to make that bond, yes.
How can I make that bond?
You might want to contact the bondsman to see if some arrangements can be made. All right, if there's nothing further, we'll be in recess. Mr. Darby, you are excused. Thank you. All right, we'll go on the record in State of Kansas versus Richard Wayne Guy, the second, case number 25 CR 177. The state appears by Darren Devaney. Mr. Guy appears in custody from the Butler County Jail. You're here for a first appearance, Mr. Guy. Do you have a copy of your charges? That you're
He
muted?
does not, Your Honor.
Okay, there's two charges, Mr. Guy, both alleged to have occurred on March 18th, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas. Count one alleges non-residential burglary, a level 7 non-person felony.
What's the address?
Walnut River Brewing Company, 111 West Locust, El Dorado, Kansas. Count two, theft, Class A, non-person misdemeanor. It's alleged that you obtained or exerted unauthorized control over a 5-gallon keg with the intent to permanently deprive Walnut River Brewing Company of the possession of the keg.
Like, really? How did what did he do? Just pick up the keg and walk out the door? Or did he tap that right there, right on the floor?
That's a Class A misdemeanor. So those are the two charges. Do you understand what you've been charged with, Mr. Guy?
Yeah.
All right. Since there is a felony involved, you won't be asked to enter a plea today. Your case has been assigned to Judge Ricky. Your next court date will be on his felony preliminary hearing control docket on May the 12th at 2:30. That'll be by Zoom, May 12th at 2:30. Can you afford to hire an attorney?
No.
Do you wish to apply for a court-appointed attorney?
Do what?
Do you wish to apply for a court-appointed attorney?
Yeah.
Okay, are you employed?
No.
How long has it been since you worked?
Since I was in Wichita, like 2-3 years ago. I filed for disability. I've been going to school to Orion and stuff.
I'll appoint James Watts to represent you.
He'd make a good bar back. He can pick up kegs.
You may be ordered to pay back some or all of his fees. Do you understand that? Mr. Devaney, what's the state's recommendation for bond?
Your Honor, given the defendant's criminal history, he has a criminal history score B that we could verify. He's got a prior possession of methamphetamine, possession of para, but there's an aggravated assault in 2015 and a residential burglary in 2016. So I think it puts him on as a B on the grid. So these are presumptive prison, or at least the felonies are presumptive prison charge. I think a $3,000 cash or surety would be appropriate in this matter.
Mr. Guy, I'll set bond at $3,000 cash or surety. As a condition of bond, you're to have no contact with the property of Walnut River Brewing Company.
I don't even remember where those came from. I know what you're talking about, containers, but I don't remember where they came from.
So, all right, Mr. Devaney, anything else on the Guy case?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Guy, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, we'll be in recess. Thank you. All right, that looks like the last in custody. All right, you must be Heavenly Frickin.
Yes.
All right, we'll go on the record in state of Kansas versus Heavenly Rose Marie Frickin, case number 16 CR 371. The state appears by the county attorney Darren Devaney. Miss Frickin appears from the Judicial Center Zoom location. From reading the docket notes, it appears this is from a failure to appear from June 24th of 2020. Is that what your records indicate, Mr. Devaney?
Yes, Your Honor.
So is this a warrant to show cause?
It is, Your Honor. And as you can see, it's an old case, it's a 2016 case.
It's frickin' chicken. Okay, that's Earl's line, but yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
And there was a significant period of time where warrants to show cause issued. Looks like Miss Frickin was taken into custody back in 2019 for a warrant to show cause. They had a sanction in March of 19 and extended probation for a year. Then a warrant to show cause was issued about 5 months later. And that was out for a full year, almost a full year. Defendant failed to appear in court at that point on the first appearance for that warrant. There been a couple motions for judgment on bond in this case as it's gone on. And it looks like there's just been a pending warrant to show cause for an extended period of time in this case, Your Honor.
All right, well, the warrant to show cause I'm looking at was signed by Judge Ward back on August 8th, 2019. Is that the one that we're operating from?
I'm trying to I believe so, Your Honor.
Okay, well, Miss Frickin, it's alleged that you violated your probation by failing to report as directed, failing to pay, and failure to report a change of employment.
Can I ask for a lawyer?
Yes, give me just a second. You've made bond. There's a $3,000 cash or surety bond.
Yes. And I did make a payment on a $1,400 payment towards my fines.
Okay.
I just did that a little bit ago.
Looks like Chris Pate represented you before.
Yes.
I'll reappoint Mr. Pate to represent you. You may be ordered to pay back some of his fees depending on what happens on this. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. This will be set in front of me on May 23rd at 2:30 in the afternoon, and that'll be an in-person hearing.
Okay.
And that'll be here in the same building you're at now, upstairs in courtroom C.
Okay.
Do you know how to get a hold of Mr. Pate?
I'm sure I can look his number up.
Okay.
We're writing down his number, Judge.
Okay, he's giving me his number.
All right. Have you been in contact with court services recently?
I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. What that means.
The probation office?
No.
Looks like Miss Christine Donovan was.
It was my PO for here, yeah.
Right.
And then she transferred me to Wichita. And I think
Oh,
it was Adam something was my,
Informing you.
I think Adam something was my PO
Yeah.
for Wichita.
I'm going to order that you go down to the court services office just down the hall from where you're at and check in with them. I don't know if Miss Donovan is there, if she'll even be able to talk to you, but just tell them that I ordered you to check in. They may have some reporting instructions for you while this matter is pending.
Okay,
And then it's probably be a good idea to contact Mr. Pate's office. Let them know that he's back on the case and they'll need your contact information.
okay.
I'll approve your bond. You've appeared here today as directed. Mr. Devaney, is there anything else we need to address?
No, I was gonna say, I don't know if if probation was transferred to Sedgwick County,
Right.
they might do some follow-up, or Ms. Frickin, you need to get a hold of Sedgwick County as well.
Okay, so here
Just-
and there.
I would do it just to make sure you're covering all your bases
Okay.
at this point. And by the time you communicate with Mr. Pate, I'd have Mr. Pate contact our office with regard to your status of your case as well. My concern is that this warrant's been existing for a very long period of time, and we'll
Yeah.
need to evaluate that as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Ms. Frickin, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, Mr. Devaney, is there anything else?
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be in recess. Ms. Frickin, you are excused. Thank you. All right, Darren, that's the last name on my list.
That's all I've got.
All right,
So,
thank you.
all right, thanks. Have a good one.
You too.
Well, there you go, guys. That's all I've got ready. And you can thank Charlie, because we wouldn't have had that until later tonight if it hadn't have been for him. But yeah, now I've got to go edit stuff for tonight so that I can come back on. Sorry for the lack of replay crew minis today, but now you know why. I've been a little busy getting stuff ready so that I could stream twice, 2 times in one day. I'm planning on it. It's the goal. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I do. And I had so much fun with you guys. Yeah. Me too. Me too. Oh, you guys. Thank you. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.